Good afternoon, people. Sorry, who's on with me? Who have I got?
Me.
You two. Okie dokie. Can you see
I
a
think I'm
TV?
summarising and Annie's tweeting.
Am I? Okay, cool. I can never remember. I can't quite because mine doesn't. It's disjointed.
Well, we are back after lunch. I've got loads of things to do in here as well, so you're going to have to bear with me whilst I do them all and play jingles and suppose.
Bear with bear.
You're supposed to be commentating.
I know.
Do you want me to commentate? And let you do things.
His voice is
yes.
pitched and ginger hair like a pick, but massive runs he has hit. So there's that.
Bass is in.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root, actually.
No, it's
Bass
right,
is
Tony.
in.
Okay.
You want me? Yes, no.
Yeah,
you're
go
gonna
for it.
do
Go for it. Go for it.
You
You're
want me to
supposed to be
do it
doing
now?
it
Right,
anyway,
good
aren't you?
lord.
Am I
Damn,
supposed to be doing
no.
it, or are you supposed to be
You're
doing it?
supposed to be doing it.
Oh, I'll do
Anyway,
it then. But you can take over. Let me just get a couple of things sorted, and then I'll be back.
Now
Okay?
I'm completely confused.
Just do it.
That was like, I don't know, Inzamam Hut running. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Whoops, I'm run out. It's the commentary equivalent of a terrible piece of running. What did you get from that, Annie? Am I supposed to be doing ball by ball, or am I not?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Abbas is right arm over. He's in, and Root nicely forward. Just pushes that away to mid-on. There is no run. Needs a captain's knock from him today, no doubt about that.
I'm guessing your screen is above your head.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm no. You've had all sorts of variety from me today. I had next to no clothes on last
I
time.
know. I was quite shocked.
Well, you're not the first. Let me say.
Well, it was a bit like in the hotel when I came into your room and you were
Well, I think we'll just
sweaty.
have that conversation right there, shall we? I once again would like to point out I'd been doing some exercise, not any other dodgy male activities. As in comes a bat. Oh, that is absolutely through Root. There's a big shout for an edge. And umpire Illingworth just shakes his head. Now there's going to be a conversation. Root resolutely stands his ground. I think, Annie, if it was anything, it would have been an inside edge. England have all 3 reviews remaining. So do Pakistan. My first impression was that literally beat everything.
It's very hard for me to comment.
Oh, it beat the outside edge. I don't think it touched anything.
I have just freeze frames and it doesn't do all the frames.
No, well, this is why I'm now looking up as opposed to at the camera, because my TV is up on the wall. So unless I found a stool that was about 8 feet high, sat there dangling my legs like Ronnie Corbett.
I do that all the time.
What? Oh, you do, of course.
Yes.
Anyway, we move on. There was no review. Abbas is going to be in again, and Root is very solidly behind this. There's 2 slips and a gully, and that cheeky little half grin from Root back to
It's nice to see him
Bowler.
look very serious of late.
The Root.
Yeah.
He has. He's got a lot on his mind, I think. I mean, it's obviously captaincy is easier when you're winning. There's never a truer word spoken than that.
2 small children.
Well, yeah, although he's been sort of removed, the bubble has rather taken him away from that. Although that might also be, who knows that doesn't play in your mind. If you've just had your second child and you're away, that's not so great. Everything comes about.
the wife's
That's
getting angry.
beautifully worked off his legs. That's going to go all the way to the mid-wicket boundary for 4. Exquisite timing from Root. 4 more to the score. Yeah, he just strayed towards leg, didn't he, Mohammed Abbas? And it was just easy for Root to just lean into that and clip it away, past the square leg umpire. Super shot. I'm sure he'd be delighted if Mohammed Abbas could sort of continually stray onto the wrong line. I've got a question for you, actually, Annie, but I'll probably have to say that. No, don't worry. With your finger on the pulse of the county game, I've no doubt you'll be able to answer it. I'll wait until some more convenient moment. This is left alone outside the off stump. Goes through to Rizwan, and there is no run. 79 miles an hour. End of the over. So why don't you give us some tweets?
Okay, well, I do have an interesting tweet from Wobble Seam, and I'm tending to agree. In line with the previous day, England to have a shitty start to the post-lunch session. And this is a really interesting point, because it's been bizarre, hasn't it? How they've come out and either bowling or batting have just looked chaotic.
Well, they have to arrest that trend, or it's pretty much curtains, I think.
Yeah, But we've got through the first over, just. So.
Well, no surprise that we're going to see Yazir Shah opening up. His leg's been none for 14 so far, but he was devastating in England's first innings. Bear, do we have a jingle for him?
Oh, Yazir, I bowled googlies, but I got my medicine wrong. I bowled posies, leggies, googlies, all day long.
Well, he does, and he bowls a leggy there, and it's left. He's got both hands on his head as though that was a near miss. It's certainly
psychological, isn't it?
Didn't turn that much. Well, to be fair, it didn't get up much. Root left it, and probably I see now why he was looking quite so distraught. That missed his the root off stump by probably about 2 inches. Tweaks that a lot. Doesn't really turn much though, and Root is onto the back foot to guide it to cover. No run. 59 for 1. He's doing some reverse windmill arm motions. Although actually, it doesn't really matter which way you go to know which is reverse. A windmill, you can't really tell if it's a reverse windmill. A butterfly stroke. It's more like a butterfly stroke he was doing there without the aid of water.
Windmills just keep going round, don't they? And round and round and round. So.
They do. That one's onto the back foot by Sibley, I beg your pardon. He dabs it down to the offside. Again, there's no run. We're in the 24th over. Yazir Shah, the bowler. We're looking forward to seeing plenty of him. This wicket's going to, we think, get more and more friendly to the 2 spinners of Pakistan and make life harder and harder for England. There's a slip in place. Sibley, slimline Sibley, steps back, plays the shot and almost adjusts his box almost in one sweet motion.
The men are good at that. I've got a question from Wobble Seam. Tony, what's the field like for Yazir?
Well, if the camera pans out long enough, I'll let you know. There is a slip and a forward short leg, and that one does turn, and they think they've got the edge. The umpire is not interested. Yazir Shah is absolutely convinced, and actually, is Sibley walking, or is he's wandering down the track? He's having a chat with Root. No, just to punch gloves. Obviously, it's reviewed. It'll be a bowler's review because the umpire's finger did not go up. Pakistan look pretty convinced. They look a bit less convinced now in their huddle than they were. The ball, and that looked like it missed the outside edge by a country mile, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Rizwan was up like a 50,000 volts had been shot through him.
Maybe he hit the ground with. No, he hit shoe with the bat.
Yeah, well, ultra edge is completely flatlined.
That's a terrible fucking decision by the umpire, isn't it?
Indeed. What is known technically as a TFD, Bear. That was absolutely a TFD by the umpire.
I think he got pressured into that because they didn't seem to know if it was or not themselves. Pakistan, some started appealing, and then Yazir started appealing vigorously.
You think Yazir Shah appealed sort of retrospectively after everyone else went up?
I think he did a bit, yeah.
Sibley was looking to cut, didn't lay a bat on it, was through to Rizwan. So it's not been an easy 2 or 3 balls for Sibley, and really that's much as we've been predicting. Yazir Shah is starting to tease, torment and generally tantalise the batsman here.
What do Pakistan have for lunch, and what do England have for lunch? That's
now you're asking. I'm being asked to commentate on a field that I can't see. A lunch buffet selection that obviously I've got no idea about. Any more impossible questions for me? When's the COVID crisis going to end? I don't know.
And what is the event horizon of space?
I don't know. Infinite. Like my capacity to not answer questions. What have you got for us on Twitter?
Good question. I've got a lovely picture from Dr. Dan Diper of Joe Root.
Hold that short there as a bass is in, and this one's cut away past gully. That's going to go all the way down to deep backward point for one of these. I never know if it's better, Bear, if you're playing the short jingles or the long jingles. At least with the long ones, after a while, you get to hear them.
Yeah, that issue.
That was timed quite magnificently by
Bear.
Root. By Bear, Bear and Root. Bear was bang on cue as he always is. a man who's had a number of technical frustrations today. He started the day by shouting at me when I had no clothes on, Annie.
Yeah. Well,
a man with no clothes on never likes to be shouted at.
I've seen you with no clothes on too often.
Oh, we don't want to hear about that. The bat is in. Oh, Lord, don't give that away. Root plays this forward away into the offside. And, you didn't hear any of that conversation if you happen to be one of the several thousand people listening to us.
I want to know now. What's going on?
That admission never happened. Annie and I were going to take that to the grave.
We were.
63 for 1. Root is on 26. Sibley also on 26, although Sibley's had considerably more balls. He's faced 80. In comes a bat on leg stump, flicked away to leg, but there's a man straight at mid-wicket, and there will be no run. Target, of course, 277. Very rarely a target of that magnitude has been achieved in the chase at Old Trafford, and not that many times indeed anywhere in England. So you'd still, I think, Annie, be putting your money on Pakistan, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, what is the win bit? They were something like late 60s, aren't they?
I'll have a look at win bits in a minute. They may well have updated
I think they're pretty much.
So I'll do that next time you're reading tweets. I'll get WinBiz out. Lovely smooth run, Mohammed Abbas, and it's positively forward by Root away to cover point, and there's no run.
At the end of this over, I'm going to take over my duties again. I'm sorted here.
Oh, okay. Just as I was having fun.
Oh no, sorry to do that, Tone.
I think he's worried, Annie, between you and me.
About
You're going to say if you're going to let little
little
things like that slip, he doesn't want any of that going on a respectable station like Guerrilla Cricket.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That was a no ball, that last one.
So he wants to, indeed. So
it's
Abbas going to be in
how
again,
many more?
beautifully rolling his shoulders, and this one is dabbed down to second slip. So there is a first slip, a kind of a third slip. There's a forward short leg. There's 3 men on the offside, conventional mid-off and mid-on. It's about as much as I can tell you. And there's a Richard Illingworth underneath his very old school ICC ribboned sun hat, licking his lips. He's got one of those kind of moustache, pointy moustache. He looks sort of almost like Sydney Greenstreet, Maltese Falcony type villain. As Root bends his knees, 2 slips go down, Root is forward, and it's away again to cover, and there's no run. 1 for 22, Mohammed Abbas. 64 for 1, England. Rory Burns the man to go. We saw he got a bit of a send-off, didn't he? Somewhere, Bear. I remember you commenting on that.
Well, there seems to be a bit of words going on between Pakistan's players, and Sibley kind of did the shush signal to them.
There wasn't someone in the crowd, that's for sure.
There certainly wasn't someone in the crowd, no.
Unless they phoned it in.
And they all seem to be laughing at him. So, make of that what you will.
It was interesting. No, that reminds me of when I go, I'll tell you in a moment. As in comes Abbas, and forward comes Root, pushed away to mid-on. There's no run. Annie will do some tweets, and I will take over summarising, and Bear will be back into his ball-by-ball duties.
Okay, Mog says, geez, even I've seen Tony without his clothes. Tony,
hang on a moment. You didn't.
What is it with you? You're always.
We were in a pub. We were in a pub garden. Then we were in a pub restaurant, and at all times, from what I recall, I was completely clothed from head to foot.
It's from what you recall, Tone. What happened? It's when the mind went blank that you don't know about.
Well, the latter part of the evening maybe was more of a blur. Who knows?
I think Mog's hearing things. He said, "Did Annie say she was getting her titbits out?" I did not say that, Mog.
Now, come on,
Lord.
calm down. Yasir Shah bowled, and it was just defended into the leg side by propping forward Sibley. 64 for 1, England. Target 277. Which makes
it comes to something, doesn't it, when Bear's telling us to calm down?
Well, no. Forward press by Sibley, just defends to short leg, no run.
I'll try and tell you what I was going to say after this ball, Bear, because to me it was rather interesting about umpiring decisions. But obviously we need to wait for the delivery.
Sibley just lets that one.
It was Michael Holding, a great fast bowler, of course, who was saying that he felt the umpire's call was so close that it really should have been always, when they're that close, should be in the favour of the batsman. an umpire's call in that instance was unfair, which I think is interesting from a man you'd normally expect to
He
want
was
every
saying
advantage
that,
for the
you're
bowler
right.
that he could get.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to say, Mikey, you're wrong, mate. Yasir Shah bowls as defended back up the track and there's no run. If it's hitting the stumps, it's hitting the stumps, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
You
brave.
see,
It's brave of an
It's that
umpire.
margin for error.
Yeah,
when
but
it's
that high up the
fascinating.
stump.
But if the
Being
umpire
a scorer.
believes, if the umpire believes it's going to hit the stumps, clip the stumps, then he should give it out.
Yeah.
It's that momentary decision, isn't it? Defended into the offside, out to cover, and there's no run.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's fascinating being a scorer because for a local village side or whatever, that you can always tell when the umpires go out by the decisions they give whether they're a bowler or a batsman. So here you are. It's obvious you're a bowler.
Clips into leg side. Quite nice timing by Sibley, but hit short leg. Sort of rebounds off him towards mid-on. And there's a single.
Quick viz, very quickly. Pakistan at 55, England at 44, and amazingly 1% draw, presumably for an act of God or some weird occurrence that no one's
So
foreseen.
England are going up and Pakistan are going down. But I mean, there's plenty of time in the game still, isn't there? So
Possibly it's not turning as much as people were thinking it would in the fourth innings for the spinners. That's certainly true. Although Sibley looked distinctly discomforted when he was facing Yasir Shah, and I think 3 balls in a row had him sort of fishing all over the shop.
Yeah. Well, he's never easy to play. But I mean, with leggies, occasionally they're going to offer you a short one, or it comes down to hand wrong, so you get the full toss or the short one. So you just got to try and keep out the good ones. Abbas is back into the attack, and he bowls outside Sibley's off stump, and Sibley leaves it. Funnily enough, I think the keeper and there's no run. I mean, that's it. You'll get enough runs off Yasir if you just keep going. And I think Root's the ideal man to have out there. He's very good at working the spinners around. I just wish he'd cut the cut shot out that's only about 6 inches outside his off stump. But I like the fact that he's prepared to sweep, and he generally picks that pretty well, the ball to sweep, which makes it quite a safe shot and really annoying as a bowler. When you're getting swept, it's fucking annoying, man. It's one of those things. Abbas in bowls and clipped off Sibley's hip down towards long leg, and he'll pick himself up another single.
There's a brilliant tweet from Mog when you get to it.
Yes.
the one about
Annie.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should slip a tweet in then, maybe, Annie.
okay, I know I've seen Bear without clothes on. I'm almost always naked when he's on. There you are, Bear. That'll
I
fill
don't
you with
know.
delight.
With his axe ready, no doubt.
Axing the screen. Well, Root is going to face up to the third ball of Abbas is over. He's up to the crease, bowls, and right behind it is Root. Fend up to mid-off, and there's no run. Captain's innings, please, Rooty. Nice ton.
Yeah, well, someone needs to get that, and others need to chip in, don't they?
Yeah, you need a ton and a couple of 50s,
And then we'll.
or a ton of 50 and sort of 2 or 3 20s and 30s gets you most of the way there, and then you club the rest, hopefully. Well, it was interesting actually. I looked at the GPL entries. The highest I think was 287, which means England would lose by about 20 runs. It would be an exciting game if that happened today, and it would also have to happen today. The lowest was around 230. Mohammed Abbas up to the crease on the back foot. Root gets up and forces it out square on the offside, but straight to a squarish gully, and there's no run. Highest run chases. England 294 for 4 against New Zealand. 231 for 3 against the Windies in 2004. So there's 2 quite recent ones. And you've got to think it's possible. There's no way you're getting a draw out of it. It's too long.
It's like, and India said, we've got Stokes in our side this time.
This is true. Defended out to cover, and there's no run. Yeah, having done it last year.
And well, those couple of wickets might just make a difference. There was an interesting discussion the other night. I can't remember who it was with, but it was very much along the lines of, if he's not contributing with the ball, does an all-rounder feel, like the additional pressure that is upon you, that you then have to contribute with the bat?
Well, yeah, probably. But he's a good enough batsman. He should have, belief in his ability, isn't that? Cut by Joe Root. Maybe a little bit too close to him to do that. Gets an under edge, which goes to second slip on the bounce. And there's no run. That ends the 27th over, 66 for 1. Root 26 off 48. Sibley 28 off 88. Tweets.
Yeah, Ross McD is still feeling confident about England here, and he's very pleased to have had a science-related answer compared to that of Brian Cox before lunch. Seeing as science communications is a field I'd like to be more involved in. This was all to do with Event Horizon before lunch.
And what was there before the Big Bang?
Yes. Wobblesing says, did you read the stuff about the oddity in Sibber's bat? Did anyone read that?
No. What's the
Okay.
oddity in Sibber's bat? Resend. Let us know.
Dr. Dan Diaper.
Tossed up outside
another
off stump,
picture.
nicely driven by Sibley. Square, behind square. There isn't anyone there. Should have chased it forlornly down to the boundary. And it'll be one of these.
It's me, says she. It's me, says she.
Dare I say it, England are looking reasonably comfortable. I did say dare I say it. Reasonably.
We have to be able to say these things occasionally.
You can never qualify a commentator's curse.
Well, the first 20 minutes are pretty important. You've got to get your eye back in after lunch and all that shit. And
considering it's after lunch, we're it's not gone.
our way for most days. Maybe we've had a bit of what they have at lunch. Who knows? And that one's left alone by Sibley.
Yeah.
To keep
Tony
an eye on.
knows. Tony knows what they have for lunch. Both sides, don't you, Tony?
Yeah, I don't, sadly. Whatever they want, I'd imagine.
Yes, I should think so too. Probably all have to have packed lunches, don't they?
That's defended into the offside by Sibley from the crease. And there's no run. When I did the World Cup last year, did I tell you that? No.
You might have mentioned it a
I
couple
might
of
have
times.
mentioned it a couple of
actually,
times. Because obviously India was so big, nearly everywhere we went, and I love a curry, but I actually got quite sick of it because everywhere we went it was bloody curry. It's thrown up outside Sibley's off stump. He turns, standard leg break from Yasir, and he leaves it alone, no run.
The thing is, the journalists now have to bring their own food. don't
Yeah,
they?
I think they
Journalists
do.
and broadcasters.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Tossed up, and Sibley gets right forward and defends that, and there's no run. I was worried how Dom Sibley would score against Yasir Shah, but I think he's done okay actually.
Yeah, he has. I'm sure he'd possibly be rather facing Yasir Shah at the moment than Mohammed Abbas.
Possibly. He drives that one square on the outside, and there's no run. This is a little bit too full from him at the moment though. But I guess he'd rather be that than too short. There's a throw. Was that deflected onto the stumps? Yeah, it was. But he was back in. And I don't know what's happening out there. It's just changing ends. 28 overs gone, 70 for 1.
Okay, I can do a tweet. Jonah says, good day all, is it time to put Jimmy in a decent paddock? He's been great, but his figures aren't great. Do we trust him to...
Man, it's one game for
I
crying out
know,
loud. People
come
just-
on.
What?
Come on!
That's ridiculous.
I want him to last forever.
I mean, look at the fucking run Josh Butler's had.
And nothing is forever, sadly.
No, it isn't. But one bad,
Even
Not
your
even
love for
trust
Josh.
profit.
he's got a couple of wickets. He's not bowled. Oh dear. Rooty got away with that one. He was trying to flick it into the leg side. A big leading edge. Must have dropped short, Shadab. Either that or he's dropped it. I don't think he's dropped it because otherwise everyone would be jumping on top of him, beating him. Yeah, he is.
Quite a way.
He's kind of set back, similar distance to the slips, and again on just off the shoulder of the third slip, sort of a deep set gully. And everyone had their hands on their heads. Rui was just trying to turn it around the corner. It was a big leading edge. Got away with that. Next ball. Tried to clip that on the leg side. I think it's crashed into his pad.
This is the thing about Mohamed Abbas, is he's relentlessly accurate by and large.
He is. At a really annoying pace as well. The 79 miles an hour. There's not a lot on it. It nibbles about. Gets very close to the stumps.
He's so English actually in the way he bowls. You know,
it's a bit metronomic, a bit like God, what's his name? The Australian.
Well, we were likening him a bit to Tim Murter, possibly even Darren Stevens. You know, not express pace, but relentless accuracy.
That's left alone outside Sibley's off stump. Rizwan standing up to Mohamed Abbas, as he has been for quite a lot of the time. It's come off his hand, bounced to slip. There's no run. I mean, you do have to think, if he gets any sort of edge on that, there's anything thicker than the thinnest of thinnest edges.
Now, also, Rizwan, if that had been Joss Butler, we'd have been laying into him absolutely mercilessly. Well, Annie probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Rizwan does it, and we barely say a word.
Yeah.
So you do get to a point where you're under the microscope more than perhaps you deserve to be.
Yeah, but he's
and then you're fighting for your place all the time.
But he's standing up to a pace bowler.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Defended up to mid-off and there's no run. They probably do this quite a lot, I imagine.
He's a good keeper.
He's a good keeper, and I imagine that. I'm not saying that Joss isn't. He's not the worst keeper in the world. He's just, he's had a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, he really has.
He's not been scoring the runs that was expected to score, and therefore
but he did do well in the first innings.
It was okay. It was 38.
Yep. It was over a long period of time. Anyway.
I get all that. I get all that, and he probably scored more than most, but it's kind of on the edge, isn't it?
It's just when you're down, and people kick you.
Defended up to mid-on, there's no run. Well,
there's an interesting field here. Sorry to cut across you.
No.
There's a first slip, a kind of a wide third and fourth slip, and then a sort of a short gully.
That's what I just said a couple of balls ago, Tone.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Yeah.
Tony wasn't listening, obviously.
It's something I have been accused of on more than one occasion, normally domestically.
Oh dear.
You just don't listen.
There's a short gully, and then there's a gully that's sort of deep set just off his shoulder. That's for the force by Ruti when he does it. He defends that square on the offside to the shorter two gullies, and there's no run.
I've got some tweets. Jay Grover says 1% draw. If I get out of bed, shake off the pills, leg it to Manchester, vomit blood on the pitch and scream, "Where is your God now, Mr. Peabody?" Bets on. Don't do that, Jay. And Jonah sends us a picture of Ollie Robinson, who's been withdrawn from Sussex squad, and he's joining the bio bubble at the Ageas Bowl.
Interesting.
Well, he's been bowling really well, hasn't he? So.
Well, he took wickets as soon as he got back to the Bob Willis Trophy, didn't he?
Yep.
He was in the wickets, in amongst them straight away. Did he take 9 or 11 wickets in the first game, I recall?
Up one of them, yeah, something like that, yeah.
That's pretty good going. What sort of pace does he bowl? No, that's the most important thing.
Quickish, medium, but he's not electric, but he gets a decent amount of lift, and he's more in the Glenn McGrath school of relentless accuracy as well. You'd have to ask. David's an avid Ollie Robinson watcher and also a huge fan.
Yeah.
Well, he does deserve.
Dave sometimes has rose-tinted glasses towards anything from Sussex, though, doesn't he?
I can't believe that anyone would have rose-tinted glasses towards any county.
No, certainly not.
Around the wicket is Yasir Shah. He's trying to bowl into the rough outside Sibley's leg stump. This could be interesting. So that's when he props forward and there's no run. That sort of line you just got to leave. It's unlikely to be LBW. But, well, unless it's a googly. Yasir Shah, he does this quite well though, and he does pad that away. And there'll be a lot of shouts, I imagine, for LBW here. None of them will be particularly any good.
Well, he's looking to work the footmarks there, isn't he? And
yeah,
he's so far outside of leg stump.
He's quite a good exponent of this. I've seen him do it before.
Better to the left-hander perhaps than the right-hander, but we'll see.
Well, it kind of rips across the right-hander. He again pads that away. That's all you got to do. You've got to pound this away because he'll soon get bored of it.
Very much so.
Who's that dude?
I don't know. They'll be telling us on the telly, though. Won't they?
Yeah. Padded away once more by Sibley. This is going to be quite dull. And goes down to a short fine leg and there's no run.
Oh my goodness me! Look at the coloured hair that lady's got. Do you think? I'm
I
guessing.
don't think it's real.
I'm suspecting collars and cuffs there are not necessarily in full alignment. I could be wrong.
Oh dear. That's defended into the leg side just past short leg, but there won't be a single and there's no run. Well, whoever it was rang the bell.
He did.
His backroom staff. Someone's going to get in touch with him and say, no, that's a really famous person. Huh? Is he an ex?
He's on his phone. He could be in touch with you now, Bear.
Yeah.
He
Again,
might be telling you.
padded away by Sibley. It bounces over slip. Can't run because there's no shot offered. And that was the end of a pretty tedious over. But Pakistan might be feeling they got to get a wicket. Nothing's really happening for them. They've got to slow things down and make England make a mistake here because at 70 for 1. I imagine the bookies have still got them pretty much evens.
Ros McD is complaining at you a little bit there for saying the captain's knock is one of the biggest cliches ever. That's being said, it's long past time Root gave us one.
Well, I was aware of it, and exactly that's my point, Annie. It is a massive
Why
cliche.
should we drop Jimmy? He also says.
Well, exactly. Why should we drop Jimmy?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, they could rotate him out for the next one, make him hungry for the one after. Because they probably should do that. Abbas in, defended by Root, back down the track. No run. I mean, let's see what goes on. If Stokes can bowl next match, then you go back to having 3 seamers and a spinner. They've got to give fucking Leachy a go, man. They've got to give Leachy a go. Is he still in the bubble?
Yeah, he's not at Somerset, which is really irritating.
I have a sneaky feeling they might just be thinking maybe Jimmy is due a blow, and that's why Ollie Robinson is due a chance. And perhaps they think that could be what we see.
Well, Mohammed Abbas is in, and that's played into the leg side, and there's no run. I mean, we were having a discussion about Archer the other day. I mean, what's his role in the side? Is he better than being a bouncer bowler? England seem to want to use him as that, and he seems,
Well, he said, didn't he, which was really interesting, it wasn't a pitch for banging it in.
Back in your back, yeah.
Well, I thought that was maybe a little dig.
Naseem Shah immediately showed the value of banging it in.
Well, he did bang it in, and he got what's his name out virtually in the last over last night, didn't he? But I mean, but you couldn't be doing it all the time. Anyway, Root. Oh, that one spits it in a little bit. Takes his bottom hand off the bat, jerks backwards. It goes square out on the leg side. He smiles a bit and looks wearing it the pitch.
I'm always a little bit dubious about the enforcer role. I mean, everyone puts Neil Wagner, don't they?
Yeah,
But to me, a quick bowler needs to have everything in his armoury.
Exactly.
And he's more dangerous, if he can bowl it short of a length, on a length,
if you mix
full
it
and swinging in.
Mm-hmm.
To be branded as back of a length, rising up, always, trying to intimidate the batsman, that limits your...
Works for Wagner in county cricket, I have to say.
Well, it works for Wagner in county cricket,
but he feels
it works for New Zealand.
But that may be because he feels comfortable doing that. And he that's driven out to cover and there's no run. He probably came up with the idea himself and said, you know what, I can do this and I can do it all afternoon, and it works a couple of times, and he goes, yeah, that works for me, but it doesn't work for everyone else, and they may not want to do it. He's decided that that's a good strategy for him, but being told to do it is a whole different ball game. That's like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, we want you to do that. That's nonsense. And I think Archer's getting a lot of pressure at the moment, and I said this yesterday. I think it's partly because of the success he came into the ODI side, and how this is a different game and there's a skill to learn. And I think everyone should just get a bit off his back. That's left outside the off stump and there's no run. And having said that, he bowls quite wayward. He does go for runs. Noticeably when he's trying, he shoves it a bit down leg side. There's always a short wide one often, that gets clattered out to the cover boundary.
Well, I think this is it. With Wagner, it is playing to a known strength.
Yeah.
Whereas I think
Yeah.
Jofra has way more strings to his bow, and it's
Yeah.
limiting to cast him in one
Exactly.
role.
Way better bowler.
But is that going on within the management or in Root's head, or are they not abiding by that? Because it certainly looks like that's the kind of thing. And the problem is also, that's defender square on the offside, no run. It's a certain degree the commentators who will go on when he should be bowling at this
Well, he's
speed
got that
and he
change
should
of
be doing
pace
that.
with no perceptible additional effort.
Yes.
And that, I think, maybe his comment about it's not a pitch for banging it in was aimed more at the selectors and his captain than it
Maybe.
necessarily was at whoever he
Well,
was
that's what I
being
mean.
interviewed
so
by.
therefore, is the pressure coming from within the camp? And isn't it's all a bit unreasonable, You think he's got talent, stick him in a side with people who've got more experience, and he will learn. He seems a pretty quick learner.
It's similar to messing around with people's technique, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
You just let them bowl. Josie Oak says he's tweeting. Oh, look, we're going to start again. I haven't had time.
We've been yapping. Should have let you
Yapping about Jofra.
Well, I don't know why they stopped for so long. To be funny, it can't be a drinks break, was it? We've only been back from lunch for 35 minutes. That's defended. Shah still continuing around the wicket into that rough outside leg stump. It was a bit shorter this time. He just knocked it around the corner, but no run. Short leg in. Imagine there's a slip. There's a wide slip. Defended. I wouldn't bother even putting a bat on that. There's no run. I just stuck my pad out. Buff. Make him bowl to me. You get bored. You got to bore him out of this line. Shah into that rough again, and he pulls his hands miles out of the way. Lets it hit his thigh. Rebounds up on the offside. And there is no run. It's good to see this, though. We've had a whole summer of not innocuous spin, but it's all sort of right arm over off spin. Leg spin's a whole different ball game,
Yeah, it's not enough leg spin, is there?
No, it's a hard art though. Defender back down the track and there's no run. We've got what's his name, haven't we?
Oh yeah, he often bowls with Thingamby Bob and Doodah.
Yeah,
As a
Doodah.
trio, they're fantastic together.
Give me a break. It's hot in here. I need to open some windows.
It's hot in here as well.
Diverting the subject completely.
Parkinson. Padded again by Sibley and there's no run. Although he's injured. Well, we gave him a run out in Australia, didn't we?
I think he does show promise. And the worry about him at the moment is he's too expensive. But this is always the concern for many. Look at Shane Warne's early figures.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to give him a go.
Yeah.
So I think we will be seeing him, especially as Adil Rashid seems now to have settled for his white ball lot. I think it's just a matter of time before Parkinson does get a sustained chance.
Yeah. Clipped into the leg side by Sibley. And they're going to come back for two. That could be tight. I think he was there. I don't even know if Rizwan even took the ball clean. He doesn't seem to have it in his hands, and the stumps have been splayed. It's funny about Adil Rashid. I think almost now. I'd be tempted to give him another go. Funnily enough,
it wasn't a problem in the old days, was it? Choosing white ball or red ball in the same way.
No.
In the old days. Look, can I just do one tweet, please?
Yes. Well, do as many as you can fit in.
Okay, Josie Oak says he's retweeting Atif Nawaz, saying Mum's analysis is bang on. The English batsmen have learnt from their mistakes in the first innings and are more focused this time. Yeah, I mean they're always rubbish. I mean they generally are rubbish in their first innings. England in the first test.
Is that his mum?
Yeah, well I don't know.
Atif, if you're listening, get her on the show.
Atif, if you're listening, jump on Zoom, mate.
Says, give Yasir a break and Naseem to get a 4-over spell with a licence to just bowl fast and straight.
We're talking of fast and straight.
We
Fast
are.
and straight.
There's a little bit of change in bowling, and a young lad is going to come in.
When the sea shone left home, he said to his dad that you're the man of the house now because Naseem Shah is just that good.
Root is going to chase up. After this over, we're going to have a change. Root thinks about working in the leg side. It's a sort of thickish leading edge down into the ground to point, and there's no run, and smiles.
He does love smiling, doesn't he?
He does.
He's got some of his chirpiness back. There was a period, particularly.
Well, he's just had a decent win, hasn't he? That'll help.
Yeah. Well, he seemed to have lost that chirpiness, but he's beginning to look like he's got it back a bit now.
Well, he won away in South Africa. Is that live? No, it's not live. It's highlights.
Yeah.
Watching Nassim Shah's highlights. He got a away win in South Africa, followed by a comeback win against West Indies after COVID
That
hit.
was live there.
That was live, and it's cut down to Gully, and there's no run. I was just going to finish my sentence, Tony. Come on, man. And so he should be reasonably chirpy, shouldn't he?
Yeah, no, he should be. He should be. I think he's grown more into the role of captaincy. He's certainly become a little bit more assured with his review strategy, which used to be broad shouts, review, anyway. And he seems to have got over that, at least.
Well, he looks like he's aged anyway, doesn't he, over the last year? Aged in mind.
Well, yeah. Right, kids will do that to you, won't they? Defend it back out into the point region, and there's no run. Yeah, 2 kids now. Is it 2 he's got?
He's got 2 and 1 very little one, indeed.
Wow.
3.
Is it 3?
Well, no, you just said 2 and 1 very little one.
No, sorry.
2 and 1 is 3.
One of them is very little.
Oh, well, I'm with you. Okay.
So,
All down to interpretation.
I thought he only had 2, but
I think he does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't add another one, Tony.
That
all
was
right?
you. Left outside off stump.
Add 1 child to the score.
3.
What the
Very
hell?
different.
No run. Calm down, people. And India has joined us. He's going to be in after this over. With who's on next?
I know I'm off until after 2.
Hendo.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'll have a look.
It looks like he's at, I don't know, in a stadium somewhere.
Hendo sent us
Well, I was told by
Nestle.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was told by some people that I should be showing my loyalty to my hometown, Calcutta. So I decided.
Oh, very nice background.
It is the absolute cliche commentator's look you've got there. The headphones in the stadium in the background, full marks. There, are you with us?
Yeah, we've got 1 more over before changeover by the look of it.
1 more over before after this. Okay. What happened there? No, Nassim Shah in, and it's defended up to mid-on. There's no run.
I think
What's
it's
his name,
time.
Bolter-Doodah?
It's a good time to read this tweet from Jay Grover now saying, Bear's commentary is like anti-Hendo, where one squeals at any eyelash of an edge. Bear says, ooh, and I have no clue what happened.
I do say after the ooh, I tell you what happened. I just go ooh first.
Grits and Grats says, talk of Ollie Robinson, but do you think Ollie Stone might have a place still? If he does ever get over his fresh injury? I hope he does.
I think we all hope he does. I think he needs to prove his fitness over a sustained period of time to get back in the frame, and I think Ollie Robinson is ahead of him for that reason in the pecking order.
Yeah, absolutely. Barry Goodman says, no sign of a Ben Code call-up, question mark, 149 wickets at 20.73.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Probably a season too early, but I could see him getting into the frame.
Sibley facing up as Yasir Shah continues around the wicket to him, bowls into that rough. He just pulls his hands out of the way, shoves his foot up the pitch, and lets Rizwan take it. And
Appreciative look from Root as well, isn't
exactly, Root's thinking the same thing, just bloody leave it. Just don't go anywhere near it. Unless he gives you a full toss, just pad it away, he'll soon get bored. That one was well outside. Well, that's you've got to play it like that, because he's wanting you to thrust your hands at it, because it gets dangerous if you do that, because it is going to spit, and it's going to turn, and it's going to bounce, and you've just got to get him out of this angle of attack. The next one he just pads out to cover and there's no run.
Josie Oakes says he can remember Nathan Lyon being called by Guerrilla Cricket as being rubbish, but he got better and better.
It's very true. He did.
He's rubbish. He's rubbish.
Well, we did when he first started. It is growing in stature and believing in yourself at this level to a degree, isn't it? As that's defenders square out to point and there's no run, and you only get that by taking wickets and feeling like you've put in a performance that warrants your place in a side. And the more you do that, the more that grows, and then other people start to go, well, actually, he got loads of wickets against us last time. Better take him a bit more seriously. Defended off the hip, as it's a bit short by Yasir Shah, and it goes down to the man on the 45.
Has that happened to you, Beth?
Yes, against certain teams, especially.
I was going to say, you're talking as if a man who.
Well, you do. I mean, you play teams, and you rolled them last time. They don't look at you the same way, That's the full toss. That's what he's been waiting for. There's the bad ball, slapped out to Cow. There is a man out there at the wicket, but he's pretty square. So they'll get 2 runs. And certainly he's admonishing himself that I didn't go for 4. And when he may do, but that's the strategy. And it's well done. So I'm off. It's 34 overs gone. That's the end. And India's in. Hendo should be arriving.
I'm here.
He's here. And who else is on, Hendo?
Nestlers. There's only one other man. Nestlers is there. And I've gone into auto standby, so I just better get rid of that on my TV screen. Well, it's intense. It's tense, and it's utterly gripping, isn't it? I think so. I can't move. I'm in one of those situations with my England hat on where I literally can only move between overs. I have to keep my eye on this to make sure they're doing okay. 74 for 1, Naseem Shah to continue. Bowling to Joe Root on 26. He's been on 26 for some time now, and he'll remain on 26 as he comes forward very nicely to that one and steers it to extra cover. Are you feeling the tension, Anindo?
Well, I'm the only neutral here. So.
Most neutrals tend to want England to lose when England are involved. But
neutral here. So.
Okay. Sibley 36 now, Root 26. I was getting a little bit worried when Mohamed Abbas was bowling to Joe Root a couple of overs ago, and I'll tell you why after this ball. As Naseem is in to Root on his leg. It comes off the pad. Don't think there was any bad involved. He's run the first one very quick. He's going to turn. He's going to come back for the second. That's brilliant running from Joe Root. The man who was coming off the fence at long leg fell over anyway in his haste to get to the ball. It was Shaheen Afridi. So 2 leg buys. So Root himself remains on 26. But useful runs for England. Everything is a useful run for England in this run chase. I was getting a little bit worried when Mohammad Rizwan was standing up to Mohamed Abbas, which meant that Joe Root had to come back further from where he would like to be, which is a few inches outside his crease. As Naseem is in again, goes wide on the crease, a little chop shot from Joe Root, an effective one as well, because that had run away backward a square for 4 runs. Looks a little bit close to cut, but he's got away with it. England 80 for 1.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Yeah, it was a little bit close, but he just waited for it, didn't try to overhit it, and guided it beautifully away between the slip and the backward point. Wonderful shot from Joe Root. I was getting worried because Mohamed Abbas is metronomic in his line more than his length, and you just felt that every now and again Joe Root wanted to play one of those on leg stump into the onside. He'd posted 2 gullies there for hoping for the leading edge or the back of the bat shot, and you just felt as a batsman it's so hard to resist that. That's played off the back foot to extra cover. Many batsmen score many runs by just clipping away off middle and leg, especially if the length is right. But if you can get it to straighten a little bit and you can get that batsman to play a little early, you bring LBW into play, you bring leading edge into play, and if you've got someone who can put it on the spot the whole time, as Mohamed Abbas can do. Sometimes he can just wear a batsman down with his desire to do that. It looks like we're going to have drinks shortly, as Naseem is in again to root. It's Fuller, and he works this one off middle and off, actually, I would say, behind square on the onside. Abid Ali does the fielding, coming in from deep square leg, and they take one. Root into the 30s now, 31. Sibley 36, and he'll have to survive one ball from Naseem of this over. I wonder what's going through Azhar Ali's mind. He's just been thrown the ball. He sends it on to his bowler. Wonder if he's getting a little bit nervous himself, as England have brought the target down under 200 now. They need 196 more runs to win, and one wicket down, 9 in hand. Here comes Naseem. Can he produce some magic? Not on this occasion. That's nicely steered to mid-wicket, and there is no run. 81 for 1. And Indo, what do you think? Do you think Azhar Ali will be feeling a little bit jittery?
Well, he has to, right? I mean, 81 for 1 is not what he wanted to see, I'm sure. And Root's playing. We talked about it that Root looks very good, and then he perishes. But he is looking quite good actually today. And it's an occasion where you show your character as a captain, right?
Absolutely.
So I think the play is going to be Yasir Shah. I mean, if he gets his round the wicket, he's doing the right thing now. Clearly, they were showing when he came into bowl. They were showing the Richie Benaud figures from that Test match, right?
1961, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and this is exactly what he did. But then that was Richie Benaud. This is Yasir Shah, but it's not the same batting either. So
no, absolutely. In fact, you looked at that scorecard, didn't you? And I think the top 3 Englishmen all got runs to a certain extent, and then they just faded away against Richie Benaud. I think only one other player below number 3 got into double figures. He's round the wicket. Yasir Shah bowling to Root, who goes back and forces off the back foot, wide of the man at backward point. There's a chase on, and there's no one back there, and that's a very useful 4 runs for Joe Root.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
A couple of beautiful cut shots off paceman and spinner alike from Root in the last 2 or 3 minutes. He's moved to 35, almost level with Sibley now. And Yasir is in again. He goes back, and that jumps out of the foot marks. And, luckily he kept his hands low enough that it didn't get anywhere near them. But that is the kind of ball that just can worry you as a batsman. You know it's got the potential to explode like that, as that one did. He had to drop his hands at the last moment. And Rizwan did quite well to get something behind it. Padded away, the next one, by Joe Root. Will be much more comfortable with that one. And again, there is no run. That really spat. It took off right out of the foot. That is when a leg spinner can be so dangerous.
And he puts the doubt in your mind right there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't know many batsmen who like padding away for too long. This one, he comes forward to, in a way padding it away, although his bat was alongside pad. And the WinViz has now got England as favourites. I don't know whether the bookies will share that optimism. 52% England, 47% Pakistan, and the draw has finally got on the board. 1%. In comes Yasir again. He's moved his man from short leg across to the other side. This is a full toss, and it's swept down to Naseem Shah at deep backward square. Brings Root level on 36 with Sibley. And one more ball to go in the over. Sibley is he's one of those batsmen who likes to back up when he's not actually batting with his gloves off and holding them in one hand. I'm never convinced about that. Constantly having to put your gloves back on when you're ready to face. Just seems a lot of fiddling about. But there you go, each to his own. Coming back over the wicket now. A slip and a forward short leg. He's into Sibley, he's driven, he's caught, and he's really annoyed with himself. He wanted to flat bat the wicket after he drove at that one. The catch has come, the wicket has come. Sibley has lost his concentration, and because of that, England find themselves suddenly 86 for 2.
So yeah. take a hike right out of here. Your history, no good for me. Your history, nah, 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 nah.
Well, it was a shot he didn't really need to play. It was up there for the drive, but it's the kind of ball that's tempting you and hoping to get a wicket, hoping to get you to attack. And there was enough spin that it took, went away from Sibley, took the outside edge. It was a comfortable catch for Asad Shafiq at slip. And
Right.
suddenly the game turns.
Yeah, and he had to do something, right? He changed his angle, and he did the trick.
Yeah, it seems an unusual shot from Sibley, who is so patient, and he had been patient with those ones that they were turning from outside the leg stump. He was padding those away. It was almost as if now coming back over the wicket, he wanted to take advantage, but he doesn't need to. England can creep. We were talking at lunchtime about Anindo's book when India made 174 at the Oval to win that third test in 1971. They batted for 101 overs. England have all the time in the world. They can go along at 1.5, 2 and over. They do not need to play big shots. It's just a case of keeping your nerve when the runs aren't coming. But on this occasion, I'm afraid that Sibley couldn't. It was wide outside the off stump. It was into footmarks created by the left armour over the wicket. And it's a good safe catch for Shafiq. New batsman to the crease is this man.
Ben? Ben Stokes.
Sibley gone for 36 off 114 deliveries. One might say this could be the crucial partnership of the innings. Ben Stokes failed in the first innings, if you want to call it that. He was undone by an absolute corker. And they might think about bringing Mohamed Abbas back on, maybe. We'll see. So 2 slips in the gully. It's Naseem Shah to continue from the stay the mend, is it, I think. And he's bowling to Joe Root. And Joe Root just has to settle down again. Gets this on his leg stump, but he's running for a quick single up to mid-on. He's going to get there comfortably enough, as it's Mohamed Abbas who's not the quickest of movers. And so Root moves to 37, England to 87 for 2, and Ben Stokes will face up to Naseem Shah. I'll get some tweets in a minute. We're probably, because this game has been so exciting, so gripping, that we've maybe ignored you for a little while, but I'm sure you've got things to say. Ben Stokes is just taking guard, and England need another 190 to win. What was that amazing stat we had this morning about chases of 250 or more by England in the 4th innings? They'd won.
I think they won.
They won 10 out of 173 games. So could this be the 11th? Yeah, they won 10, drew 56, lost 107. So history is against them, but Ben Stokes is a man who makes his own history, really. 2 slips of gully, backward point, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, square leg, fairly straight, and a long leg over the wicket to the left-handed Ben Stokes, and Stokes is on to the back foot immediately, getting right in line and defending that into the covers. And there was a man who rejuvenated England late last night with a couple of quick wickets, his first bowl in the match. The man who makes things happen. He's now copyrighted that particular phrase, I think. Well, he's got to make things happen here for England as well. We know he's got the patience as well as the strokes. So he settles down, and it's Naseem who very deliberately places his fingers on the seam as he runs up to bowl, or just before he runs up to bowl. Finds a thick outside edge. There's a man sprawling away at gully to get his hands on that, and there is no run. Are they lining up? Are they lining up, Nestus? The tweets?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I know you've been very patient sitting there, waiting for your moment. You shall have it. You shall have it in 3 balls' time.
Watching the F1.
Oh, you actually. You're watching one of the most gripping test matches of all time, and you're watching bloody qualifying in motor racing. That I think that may be a guerrilla sackable offence. They'll certainly be put to the committee later on. Disciplinary procedures will be followed. Naseem in. Round the wicket now to Stokes. And Stokes does find the outside edge. A thick one. And it does find the gap between slips and gully. And runs away to the boundary. Takes him off a pair. England 91 for 2. Well played into the ground by Ben Stokes, and well, it's a thick edge. He's in control of it pretty much, and away it goes. Target is 277, and with that wicket, the win viz has gone back up to 56% for Pakistan and down to 43% for England. The draw's hanging in there on 1%. Here is Naseem again to Stokes. He leaves this ball angled into him from outside the off stump. And through to the keeper it goes. I'll tell you what, Nestlers, let's have one tweet before the 6th ball.
Okay, it's from what looks like a very young listener called Mill. Silly Millie says, "Hey guys, we have an 8-hour ride back home and my parents are making me tweet again." Well, Mill, keep tweeting in.
Yes, we like to hear from you. Where are you going from and to? That's another thing that we should know, really. If an 8-hour drive, if you're in England, I suppose that could be to Scotland, something like that. But you may be, I don't know, in the heart of America. Defended on the back foot, straight to one from Naseem. That is the end of the over. England are 91 for 2, Root 37, Stokes 4, and more tweets, Nestlers.
Right, don't get upset with me if I miss out some of your tweets, because there's a lot to get through here. Leah says she can confirm that neutrals want England to lose. Source, she's a German Indian fan. Jersey Oak just says, "Sibley, you dick." Steve Kellett says, "Here we go, past the maracas, it's Calypso time." Leo the Wicked Witch says, "Come on, Ben, make that pair. You know you want to."
Oh, Leah, how could you do that to us? How could anyone want to see Ben Stokes make a pair? A who gets bums on seats when you're allowed into the ground, of course, that is.
I'd like to see him eat a pair, but I'm not make a pair.
It's going to be Yasir Shah, fresh from taking a wicket with the last ball of his previous over. He's going to be bowling to Joe Root. He's going to go back to round the wicket for Root. He's got a slip quite wide. He's got a silly mid-off. He's brought the man on the 45 more round to on the 60, I would say. And my goodness me, Joe Root has produced the reverse sweep, and he's played it very well indeed, all the way along the ground. It's gone for 4 runs.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
You've got to have nerves of steel to play that shot, haven't you, in this circumstance?
Absolutely. That was, I think, a surprise to Yasir Shah.
Yeah, it's certainly a surprise to me, and worried me slightly, but he did play it well. The slip goes wider, the silly mid-off comes out, he goes to backward point. There's also a man at deep backward point. A man very fine on the onside, behind square. Padded away by Root. This is developing into a fabulous contest. Root has moved into the 40s, 41 not out. Graham Thorpe up there in the dressing room, having a look at the computer, maybe talking to Dom Sibley about what went wrong those few minutes ago. Very wide outside of the crease, really, Yasir Shah for that one, but it's cut by Root, giving himself room, and he'll take a single to the deep cover, bringing Stokes down to face. Now, this could be crucial. A left-hander facing Yasir Shah, very occasionally getting one to explode out of those footmarks outside Ben Stokes off stump. This
Doesn't
be yes, sorry, Aninda.
Against Abbas, huh?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said he doesn't want to miss the ball as he did yesterday.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's going to be very keen to do well. He's got a man at short leg. He's got a man at backward short leg, or even a leg gully, and also a slip. And Yasir will be quenching his thirst by bowling to Ben Stokes, who goes back and lets that really hit his pad. It was going down the leg side. No danger there. But, that one did just seem to gather pace off the pitch a little bit. It wasn't the best directed delivery of all time. Stokes deep in his crease, giving himself plenty of time to see what this ball's going to do. He goes back to this one, he turns it, well, he's looking to turn it past the man at short leg, but he actually hits it straight to him. Rebounds off Abid Ali, and he does the fielding. 96 for 2. Root has 42, Stokes has 4. Yassir 1 for 33 after his 4 wickets in the first innings. Toiling away, bowls to Ben Stokes, and Ben Stokes reaches right for. There's shouts of excitement, shrieks from the Pakistani close fielders, but nothing really to get too excited about. It's defended. It's the end of the over. 96 for 2. And what's Stokes' approach going to be here, Aninda?
Well, I think he can't afford to do what he just did. Lunge forward and take that chance, because he's going to. I mean, the way we saw the ball going up against Root.
Yes.
Like that, and Stokes is gone. So I don't think
absolutely
take that approach. But I find interesting about Yassir Shah is if he does well today, he will finally have reinvented himself outside the UAE, right?
Right.
Which we thought in 2015 when he did well. It was 2015, right? When he had that Lord's.
No, 2016 that would have been. Yes, he did really well at Lord's, 10 wickets, wasn't it? And then struggled at Old Trafford, and I can't remember where the third test was. This is Naseem Shah bowling to Root on his legs. He pushes up to mid-on. There is no run. Yeah, Lord's, I think he did really well. Then he struggled at Old Trafford and possibly Trent Bridge or Edgbaston, and then came back with a 5 for, I think, at the Oval. But certainly he had terrible figures at Old Trafford in 2016. I think we said yesterday 1 for 266 across the match.
Yeah, that's right.
And now he'll be much happier laying some of those demons to rest, if indeed they were affecting him in any way. Naseem, at the end of his run, focused, running in towards an equally focused Joe Root, and bowls. He defends on the front foot, takes a couple of steps down the wicket, but won't get a single. And England remain 96 for 2. Any tweets, Nestlers?
Colin Meehan on YouTube. He's a neutral, wants England to win, even though he loves watching the Pakistan bowlers. And he's from Ireland, by the way.
Okay.
Morthy says, is hot mic off?
Shouldn't be.
Not.
We'll maybe get the bear to check on that, see what's going on.
Zahid Shakil says, anybody's match now.
Certainly is. I'm sorry, I just had to mute myself as I coughed, but back now. Naseem into Root. Root goes back to this one, looking right down at the ball under his eyes, on the face of his bat, and running it straight back to the bowler, and there is no run. Some vigorous work on the ball being carried out, I think, by the Pakistan captain Azhar Ali, before he tosses it back the ball to Naseem. May he be thinking a bit of Shadab? Also, maybe have a look at him. Had a little look at him just before lunch. 2 slips in the gully. Ring of 3 on the offside. In comes Naseem. Bowls do right against it, and he's gone. And that could be the killer blow. It's the young man Naseem Shah has taken the wicket of the England captain. Suddenly, 2 wickets have been added to the total. Root doesn't want to go, but that's a pretty good edge. I don't think there's any doubt about that, unless it was a no ball, and it isn't. And England now have lost Root. They've lost Sibley. They're 96 for 3, and well, that win viz is going to be looking much more in favour of Pakistan.
Well,
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Root looks back in distress, if not anger, but there is probably a bit of annoyance and a horrible kick to the gut for the England captain to have gone so quickly after Sibley. And India, what do you think?
Well, we've been talking about for the last hour or so about Root looking good and then getting out, and he does it again.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that he'd play a captain's innings here. Well, I don't think 42 in this situation counts as a captain's innings. And he'll certainly be disappointed because that ball, conventional dismissal, right?
Yep.
Naseem Shah's been bowling there constantly, and just got the edge. So there's nothing remarkable about the delivery.
No, I mean it's one of those things. I think batsmen just don't have the patience, I suppose, these days. And if you just keep plugging away at a particular length and line, it can be very difficult for them to score. But Root had been looking good in the overs before that. He did a couple of nice boundaries. But Naseem Shah maybe is going to make himself a name as a man who takes crucial wickets. He got rid of Ollie Pope, didn't he?
Yeah.
To start that collapse for England in the first innings, and now he's got rid of Joe Root. And that could be an extremely important wicket in this series. So England are 96-3. Have we got any more tweets? Any more prophets of doom out there, Nestlers?
Well, Mill is on who tweeted in before. They're on their way back from New Hampshire back home to Maryland. What a beautiful part of the world that they're driving through. Matt Searle says Stokes comes to the wicket. England now 4-6 to win. Pakistan now 5-4. I don't know if that's the same now. Picture from Mezzy Jez. Despite his absence today, I'm confident there have been times today when this title was the most appropriate, and he's got a picture from Penguin Book that says, "Why did I do that?"
Yeah, well, is that one of his hoot-sweeted tweets that he was promising us yesterday? That he was going to feed us through the day and see how accurate it turned out.
We're doomed, says Josie.
Of course. Yeah, I don't need to say who says that.
Leah the Wicked Witch says you're getting a mail from her cardiologist, Hinder.
Really? Am I? What to? Because I'm sort of quite shocking you a few times.
You got very excited. Steve Shipcott said he had earphones in and he needs new eardrums.
Excellent. That's what we aim to do. Ollie Pope has come to the wicket. He's got a jingle that goes like this. Well, I'm going to readjust. I'm going to be flexible. That wasn't the most important stand of the England innings. This one is. It's Pope and Stokes. With Stokes on 4, Pope yet to receive, and Joe Root stands there behind Graham Thorpe in the England dressing room, hands behind his head. Got his pads off.
Mog wants him out. Drop Root, he says.
He does. Mog's always taken against Root. I'm never quite sure why, but.
Steve Kelly says, "Root, you great wazzock."
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. I think that we all felt that. So it's Naseem Shah into Ollie Pope. What can he do? He can bowl him a full ball, and he began driven up to mid-off. Very handsome shot, but well fielded by Azhar Ali up there. It was Babar Azam, I'm sorry, who took the catch at slip, not Asad Shafiq, that got rid of Root. Pouched it very safely indeed. Just the one slip, and it went to the one slip. So Naseem Shah, what a player. Root is now discussing with Graham Thorpe what that ball did. Not a lot, but he's just out there, and he's in a good length, and he's a good line, and he gets fizz off the pitch. In he comes again to Pope, onto his legs, and he's whipped that away absolutely beautifully. Timed that to perfection, and that is away through square leg for 4 runs. So a good start for Ollie Pope, taking up where he left off in the first innings. Made a very attractive 62. Got an absolute snorter from Naseem Shah. He won't forget that one in a hurry. But he'll enjoy it if he puts the ball there. He's very strong on his legs. So Yasir 1 for 33. Naseem now 1 for 24. Mohammed Abbas 1 for 23. They are the wicket takers, and England's 100 came up with that boundary. They are 100 for 3. They need another 177. And Yasir Shah has bowled a long spell this afternoon. Will continue.
He's going to be bowling a lot.
I think he may bowl all the way through now, and they may just rotate the the paceman from the other end. He's in, he bowls to Stokes. It jumps on Stokes as he goes right deep in his crease. Drops the ball down at his feet. And there is no run. I'm wondering what exactly Stokes can do here. He's going a long way back. It's risky to come a long way forward if it's going to explode out of those foot marks. Has he got to come down the wicket and just get to the pitch of it? Oh, now that's a big appeal for LBW. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Was it the googly? Did it straighten? I thought there was a bit of bat involved initially. I think we need to see that again. I think I saw Azhar Ali say to Yasir Shah, that was bat. He's grinning broadly. I think there was some bat involved there. Yes, it's not actually hit the pads at all. So
I don't know why they appealed for that one.
that's extraordinary, isn't it?
Excited.
Anyway, it just shows that everyone is keyed up. Everyone knows how important the wicket of Ben Stokes is. Not least Ben Stokes himself. He's in. He's going to bring out the reverse sweep. My goodness me! What a shot to play! We said it about Root a few minutes ago, but that's really well played by Stokes to get on top of that. A few words from Yasir Shah, not surprisingly, but it's brought in 4 runs. Well, it has brought in 4 runs, but I'm afraid to say that the bear is getting himself a beer. So while I was waiting for the jingle there, all we got instead was silence. It's very important that the bear is lubricated at various junctures during the day. Obviously, he won't be able to function properly without beer at this particular moment. It couldn't have waited till the end of the over, not possibly. In comes Yasir Shah bowls, and that's flicked away with the spin by Ben Stokes. He's going to snatch himself a single there. Walks to the other end, more or less. And England move on to 105 for 3. The target is 277, as I keep reminding you. Are we going to see that reverse sweep? No, we're just going to see that little flick into the onside from the stump cam view. And this means Pope comes down to face Yasir Shah now. Will he come back over the wicket as he was for Sibley? Or will he go round the wicket as he was for Root? He's going to stay over the wicket initially to Pope, who's got a forward short leg and a slip for company. And in comes Shah bowls. He jabs at this outside of your stump, sends it square to the cover fielder, and has just one ball left to get through.
England haven't got the tools now to play for the draw, have they?
Absolutely not the draw, but
No.
I mean, there's no reason why, if you can keep your nerve, that you need to go at any real pace. He goes back to that one and cuts into the ground. The ball loops up comfortably into the hands of Shan Masood, I think, at cover. And that is the end of the 40th over. England were looking good only 15-20 minutes ago. Suddenly it's back in the balance as they've now slipped to 105 for 3. Tweets?
Yeah, Neil Franklin says, I blame Hendo. Nerves of steel, my arse. Jay Grover says he thinks that I'm a sleeper agent for the pretty parts of America. Ralph the Wonder Llama, replying to Woy Woy Pom and us, says, Roots from Dore, D-O-R-E, that's not proper Sheffield, says Joe Grover. Stokes has no chance as a left-hander against Yasir. And
well,
Jay says, bloody hell, Hendo, I just punched my stuffed penguin.
Nasim Shah round the wicket to Stokes. Stokes comes forward and defends up towards mid-on. Oh,
I don't think that's a euphemism for anything, is it?
I'm just wondering which penguin is it? Is it Pingu? Is it? There was an American one called Opus for a while. It had a really huge nose. Do you remember that? You like All Americana, don't you, Nestle boys? You remember Opus, the hefty nosed penguin?
No, never heard of it. You're making it up.
You Google Opus, the hefty nosed penguin, and you will see I am not lying to you. Nasim round the wicket then to the left-handed Stokes. It's full and he digs it out into the offside towards extra cover, and there is no run. Have you Googled it yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? He's
There he
nice,
is.
isn't he?
Yeah, I've never seen him before. He reminds me of Not Fred. Don't you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I did have a cuddly toy. It belonged to someone else who left it with me many years ago. It's probably somewhere in my old bedroom at my mum's. But yeah, Opus, the hefty-nosed penguin. You heard it here first. In comes Naseem Shah to bowl to Ben Stokes, and Ben Stokes whips that away off his legs, but it's well stopped by number 86, and that is Yasir Shah, who's having a big say in the destiny of this game.
Well, he's the highest scorer. Well,
Yes. She's taken now 5 wickets. He's taken 5 wickets in the match. Naseem's taken 2. Mohammed Abbas to come back. Sheen Afridi hasn't taken a wicket in this innings, but I'm sure he'll be getting ready whenever his captain decides he needs a little spell from him. Naseem Shah in again, bowls to Stokes. Stokes is forward, watchfully, head over the ball. Ball runs up to mid-on, no run.
Derek Willis says, slander. Opus the Penguin was a huge part of my childhood.
Thank you. I just wanted people to realise that I'm not completely mad. And these people do exist. The Penguin, known as Opus. How long we got till tea? Well, 55 minutes to go. So it's not a case of playing for tea at the moment. 2 slips of gully, backward point, extra, deepish mid-off, deepish mid-on. He's in again, bowls to Stokes, hits him on the pad, massive appeal. But I think that was going down on the leg side, surely. Naseem was getting very excited. Azhar Ali saying, what do you think? Perhaps to Mohammed Rizwan. Are they going to review that? They are going to review it. They are going to review it. I don't think it's a very good review. Do you, Anindya?
no, I think it's a complete waste, this one.
Yeah. I think really it was only Naseem who went up for it. I'm not sure that anyone else did. He's bowled him a cutter there, hasn't he? That's quite nice when you see it in slow motion, but I think surely that's missing leg. The angle is surely going to take that as it clips the top of the pad. So height might be an issue as well. It's hit him on the front pad. Ultra Edge shows that there is a spike, but that was from the bat hitting the inside of the pad. And we're going to have a look at it again. And well, if that's out, then I don't know anything about cricket. That's down the leg side. It's a review lost by Pakistan, and how important might that prove to be in the final analysis?
A bit closer than I thought.
Yeah, a little bit closer than I thought, but I didn't look out.
How many do they have left now, the reviews?
2, so they've only lost 1. So 2 reviews. England still have 3 in their locker. Naseem just getting a little bit excited having got that wicket of Joe Root. He comes in again, bowls to Stokes. There's a bouncer and he tries to help that on its way, and he was in danger of getting a top edge through to the keeper there. Naseem Shah, the 17-year-old, gives him a stare for the ages and almost circles him while looking at him. It's getting tense, it's getting tight, it's getting fun, and Stokes survives 105 for 3. I need another remote control because my TV is about to go into idle. It is now brought out of idle, so I'm with you. I can bring you the next couple of deliveries at the least. It means Ollie Pope will be back in action facing Yasir Shah. Naseem disappears off down to, well, I was going to say down to long leg, but he may be actually wandering off for some particular reason. Maybe that's the end of his spell. He's going to change his boots or something like that. But he is gone for the time being. Yasir Shah continues, 1 for 38 from 14 overs. And Ollie Pope is facing a slip and a forward short leg. He's in, he bowls, and that keeps a little bit low as it turns. And really all Pope does is just dab it back to the bowler. A bit surprised at the lack of bounce in that one, if anything, but it came off the wicket quite slowly. So he had plenty of time to cover up. He's in again, over the wicket. Bowls, he goes back, and not so far from chopping on. He did chop down, he chops it away from the wicket, but not very far. It was fielded by the man at slip. And slightly risky going back to play that against Yasir Shah. Got Chris Wokes the beautiful flipper yesterday. Really tremendous. It was a classic of the flipper genre. He's in. This could be another flipper. Onto the back foot goes Ollie Pope, covering up in defence. he is not fooled. He doesn't try to pull it and doesn't get himself into trouble, as Chris Wokes did yesterday. Pope has 4, Stokes has 9. England 105 for 3, chasing 277 to win. He's in, he's down the wicket, and he wants a single as he shovels that away through a gap between backward point and extra cover. So Pope moves on to 5, 106 for 3. Sorry, on India, were you trying to say something?
No.
Oh, it wasn't. Must have been someone else.
It was me going tense.
Oh, is you going tense? Okay, fair enough.
This is tense.
It is, it really is. It's become a lot tenser if you're an England fan in the last half an hour as well. Losing those 2 vital wickets of Sibley, who can stay there all day, and Root, who is of course still England's premier batsman. This turns from Yasir Shah out of those foot marks, and Ben Stokes just turns it behind square. There may have been a bit of pad involved as well. It's fielded by the man at leg slip, and there is no run. I think we'll have one more over after this one for this particular commentary season. Oh, he's got him. He's got Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes says, no, I'm not going. Interesting. That was the googly. He went onto the back foot. It went back. It seemed to maybe take an edge. Rizwan took it, I think, at the second attempt, and got very excited about it. And now they're waiting to find out whether they're going to review it. I think they are going to review it. Stokes is keeping his head down, hoping he's going to get away with it. But the decision has been reviewed. Will this be another wasted one?
This was much closer than the other one.
It's a hell of a take by Rizwan, because that really did take off. It's the bounce more than anything. It was the googly. Let's have a look. Has it just brushed the glove? Ooh, I don't know. Oh, this is going to be ultra edge. This is going to be critical. It's going to be a decision made by Michael Goff. We're looking at it. We're looking for the ultra edge. Oh no! It's the ultra edge. It's the glove. Ben Stokes have gone. England are in disarray. My stint has been a disaster for England. I'm going to go away shamefacedly and hide in a darkened room. Ben Stokes goes. He's confused by it, but it flicked his glove. Yasir Shah has done what we thought he might do, and this game is ever more in the hands of Pakistan.
I already played a jingle.
Play it again. 10.
We can't
Anyway, okay. Just. I mean, you know, Bear, you've got your beer, and now you can't be bothered, can you? So England are 106 for 4. Ben Stokes goes for 9. It wasn't the magic that he imparted with the ball being imparted to himself and his teammates with the bat, I'm afraid to say. And well, it's great that Annie's coming back shortly. Oh no, she's not coming back till after tea. But our hopes now rest with Ollie Pope and Joss Butler. Need I say more than that? If anyone's not shouting doomed out there, why not?
So if he kept going back like that, and the ball kept shooting up, this was bound to happen at some point in time.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. I mean, that was the googly, and it wasn't a great googly. That's the thing. It wasn't a particularly good one. It was a little bit short.
It's almost
It jumped, didn't it? I mean, it jumped to shoulder height from there, and that was the difficulty for him. But you also have to say, what a brilliant catch by Mohammad Rizwan. It really was. I mean, his gloves are up there above his head to his left, and he's pounced that one. Of course, it wasn't travelling very fast, but a brilliant piece of work from him.
Taught now Butler, huh?
Yeah, taught now Butler. Well, yep, this is his chance. Maybe he should just go batshit crazy. What do you think? Down the wicket, hit Yasir Shah out of the attack.
Career-defining innings coming up.
Pryor ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone subtler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler. Just because he is Joss Butler. 1 S and 2 T's. Joss Butler.
Well, it won't be Joss Butler to face. It will be Ollie Pope. A change of bowling. Naseem has gone off. We think he literally went off the field as well. Shaheen Afridi is back into the attack, bowling to Pope. Left arm over the wicket across the right-hander, and it's allowed to pass through to the keeper. Shall we jingle up Shaheen? He's back into action.
It's always time for Shaheen Afridi. No, not that other guy, that's Shaheen. It's always time for Shaheen Afridi. No, not that other guy, he used to find the ball. Shaheen Afridi, Shaheen Afridi.
He's in again to Pope. Pope drives, and it's a half stop by Yasir Shah, whose gander will be up. He'll be very excited at the moment, having picked up 2 vital wickets in this last 40 minutes for Pakistan. That's a single to Pope. He goes to 6. England go to 107 for 4. I'm hoping that Tony will be in soon to take over ball by ball before I do any more damage.
There he is.
And India will be staying with us, and the bear will be doing
You
things.
can do it now if you want.
He'll have to do tweets as well, won't he? Because and India hasn't got access to those. So
The
this
Bish
is one of those
doing
teams. No, Bish is doing ball by ball.
No.
Yes,
I am
he
doing
is
ball
doing
by ball,
ball
that's correct.
by ball. Don't go on what I write on the rotor. You know that's bound to be wrong. Here comes Shaheen to Butler. Butler leaves a rising delivery outside the off stump. Through it goes to the keeper. 3 balls left of my stint.
I
gonna
bother.
I know. Well, what's been happening, Tony? This is disastrous.
Well,
for
Hendo,
England.
honestly, I leave you in charge for 40 minutes and it's
know.
absolute carnage.
It is.
It was all going really nicely before your slot.
Maybe I should just stop commentating.
No, don't do that.
Maybe I should just resign.
No. We'll take the odd defeat. We don't
Take the odd
want that
defeat
to
in
happen.
our hands. Okay. In comes Shaheen again to Butler. Butler could have driven at that one, but he decides to let it go. It was full outside the off stump and through to Rizwan. I'll take you back to that dismissal of Ben Stokes. What Rizwan did is he got his hands high up to his left. If you are watching me on TV, you can see me doing that. He didn't take it cleanly, but he did enough. Got his hands in the right place that it came out of the gloves, but popped up, and he had plenty of time to grab the rebound. So, have keepers made the difference in this test? That is the question, isn't it? And can the keeper that's out there now, Jos Buttler, turn it round for England when they most needed it? Shaheen into Butler. Butler leaves, another rising delivery. Rizwan goes over in front of his first slip to take that with the gloves pointing up. And there is no run. One more ball, and I will sneak off with my tail between my legs in shame. I have done a great service in Pakistan cricket, but not a very good one for English. Final ball of Shaheen's, 6 over, first of a new spell. And they've got so much variety, they really have, in this Pakistan team. It's not just variety, it's skillful variety. It's not variety for the sake of variety. Here is Shaheen now round the wicket to Butler. Oh, that's cut him in half. Has he bowled him? Has he been caught? Nobody seems to know. Richard Illingworth is looking across to Richard Kettleborough. Azhar is being asked whether he wants to review that. And I'm at 6s and 7s to know exactly what happened there. But hopefully we'll see a replay. There is going to be no review, so despite the fact that it was a brilliant ball that came right back into him, just kept following him. It's gone between bat and pad. It's hit him on the upper thigh, and well, even Rizwan wasn't actually appealing for that, so nothing much going for it. I shall take my leave. Tony will be the next voice you hear. He'll be joined by a ninja and the bear.
Whoever's doing
Fantastic.
tweet,
What company?
the next one is the Beatles complete on ukulele from 6 minutes ago.
Fantastic. Well, I can tell you, just as Yasir Shah is in, Pope's onto the back foot. That's a way to point there is no run. The carnage that Hendo has wreaked is a full 35% swing in favour of Pakistan. The win visometer is now 84% for Pakistan and a mere 16 for England, and the draws out the equation completely. The Shah is in, and this one's worked nicely away down to backward square by Ollie Pope. So we'll get a single. Jos Buttler will be back on strike. He's yet to get off the mark. And I don't suppose an Indo, as we shall now call it.
That's because it's the correct name.
We shouldn't be that surprised, really, should we?
No, I think he was always going to make the difference, and making the difference against this England team means getting rid of Ben Stokes, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, just generally, though, that, you know, this bowling attack, day 4 wicket, big total to chase, rarely done, certainly at Old Trafford. Combination of factors, given plenty of air, and Butler's able to drive through extra cover, drive for 4. Terrific shot.
It's beautiful.
Do you know what? I'm not even sure Yasir Shah's going to mind that too much. Probably overpitched it, but if he's encouraging Butler onto the drive, I don't feel think he'll feel too aggrieved.
Absolutely.
It all started with Dom Sibley's injudicious drive outside that off stump.
Yes, but this is a really quality attack. Forward comes Butler, very solid, very correct. Yasir Shah just reaches down to his right, didn't really have to even change the direction of his follow through, and picks up. Butler's looking, I don't know, underneath is a slight air of resignation there. One hopes he's also thinking, this is it, this is my moment, this will shut them up. Down the track he comes, canes this away between cover and extra cover. There's a man after it. I think he won't get it. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, who was it? Shadab Khan. And I think he's damaged himself. He as he fell forward, he tried to hook it back and unfortunately missed it. And it's 4 more for Joss.
Maybe he's going to do what he used to have on his bat.
Yeah, the old FI principle.
Exactly.
He certainly was tossed. Both of those were very full from Yasir, tossed right up to the right-handed Butler. Let's see what he does with this one. More on a line, does turn, good leg break, but a little bit edgy maybe, but he nice soft hands, and it was just down to the very short third man or wide gully area.
It has to be said that actually Yasir Shah probably would have liked bowling at Ben Stokes. There's a lot of rough outside Ben Stokes off stump. There's not so much outside the off stump of the right-handers.
Now, when you say 161 to win and 6 wickets in hand, somehow that doesn't sound quite so scary, and yet it is scary. It's extraordinary, isn't it? The psychology of the way you look at it. But it is only 161.
We've seen this so many times, haven't we, Tony?
Wow.
And then it all. The thing is, once one goes, and coming in to start against Yasir Shah, spinning out of all that rough, it's never going to be easy.
Ollie Pope waggling his head, lifting his bat, 2 slips and a gully for him, and looks to drive. Well, he doesn't. It's sort of a checked drive. Takes the bat away, his right hand away, and holds it up. It's straight to cover. Did that catch more? Yeah, I think that might have caught some fingers there in Indo. Do you think? In fact, I'm pretty sure it did. 116 for 4. No damage done, no appreciable damage done to Ollie Pope, but it certainly made him wring his hands a bit. Shaheen is on wicketless so far for him. In he comes, very slingy action, and this is through. And through to Riaz, and there is no run.
I'll get through some tweets at the end of the show. Is that in the over? No.
No. Not yet. So sort of could have taken an inside edge there. He gives it an appreciable flick almost with the fingers, doesn't he, as well, does Shaheen Afridi. Getting lots of encouragement from his fielders, not surprisingly. 116 for 4. There's 4 balls left of this over. And Shaheen's going to be in again. Left arm around the wicket. And Ollie Pope just jumps a little, guides this to point, or backward point. There's again no run. Pope on 7, Butler on 8. And the other factor, of course, was you think of that, well, it's only 161 to win in Indo, is when wickets fall, you have to rebuild. The partnerships have to start again, don't they? Makes it so much tougher.
And you've got 2 relatively new batsmen out there. I mean, when you see those who are out, yet they're your main batters. So.
Well, that's right. He's around the wicket again to the right-hander, driven nicely, but driven straight to cover. And again, there is no run. Pakistan sensing blood. They're right on their toes. every ball is getting an appreciable, either a shout or a clap of the hands above the head to encourage Shaheen. And it was a no ball, in fact.
Oh.
Again.
Well.
So,
yeah.
Over the line! Huh? I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
Thing is, of course it's delayed now with the umpires, the third umpire giving the no balls rather than the sort of being picked up instantly. England will take it. It's one less to score. 2 slips and a gully go down. Again driven straight to that man at cover. And again there's no run. 117.4, just 78 miles an hour from Shaheen. We're looking at that no ball, and it was marginal, but enough. Either is or isn't, and that's what the third umpire is there for. And he certainly slid forward a long way as well on his front foot. Whether he'll mind that or not, so you could argue 78's not especially that quick, but I think it's not about raw pace at the moment. Just keep working at the stumps, let the ball do the work. Shaheen's in again around the wicket, and that's taken an edge. It's up, it's gone to gully, and I think we have seen the end of Ollie Pope.
I think we've seen the end of England, mate.
When the Pope, it's the end of the road. When the Vatican tumbles, then I fear England will tumble with it.
All of the dreams that I dreamed were mine are gone.
Well, really well on TV pictures, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It came up off a length at him, and not for the first time he'd been stung. Remember, he'd had that other one that, without being necessarily super fast, there was that lift that Shaheen gets with his height. There's one already that Pope had gone back to and had to draw his hand off the bat as it spat up at him. That time, same again, a combination of fingers and bat, I feel, and it just seemed in the air for an eternity before it just plopped into the waiting hands of the gully fieldsman. And I fear an Indo. I hope you got some good plans for tomorrow, because I don't think you'll be commentating on any cricket. I could be wrong.
Absolutely, which is why I said let's just stick to Saturday for me, and we'll skip.
very prescient, very good foresight. Now you sent us, of course, you sent me an extract from a photo, what do you call it, a screen grab, of your book. Next to who were you accompanying? Tendulkar.
It was Tendulkar,
EVS,
and Dhoni.
And MS Dhoni, and there you were, 5 stars. The best they could muster between them was amongst them was a 4.5. Impressive stuff.
And the only explanation for me being at number 1 is I went in as night watchman.
Now, England could do with whatever it was got you there. England needs some of it right now. Yeah, that's taken.
With a left-hander bowling round the wicket, you don't need the speed, right? He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Just get a little bit of the lift, a little bit of movement, and he got the doubts.
Well, I think this was the point. So it's going to be, I assume, Chris Wakes who's made his way out there. Should we jingle him, Beth?
Yeah, I was just wondering what Ollie Pope seems to be thinking, saying that hit him above the glove, or right on the edge of it. It's this man.
George Black.
He's on Instagram, and he's a Twitter fan. On the Ashes tour, not Ben Stokes, but he'll have to do.
Well, there's 3 slips and a gully and a man at backward point. Shaheen Shah Afridi is going to continue around the wicket, I beg your pardon, to the right-hander, and that's a reasonably welcoming delivery, wide of the off stump, didn't get up much. Wakes could have a little look, watch it past with no undue alarm. 117 for 5. It's the end of the over, a successful one for Shaheen Shah Afridi. Bear, you got some messages for us?
Yeah, well, Mog's happy that I'm starting to get on a sauce. Josie Oak says, told you Stokes had no chance, drop him, he's useless. Colin Rosenthal says, I woke up from a lovely nap with England 80 for 1. This was clearly the cause of the disaster. Memo to self, nap longer.
Yep.
Leah Wickerwitch says, and let Butler do it. He seems to be pretty good at the whole dropping thing. Yeah, right. Prophet Mahabat says, hey, we're enjoying your commentary. We're in Chennai, India. Hello to you, Prophet Mahabat.
Welcome indeed.
Always nice to have new people along. Joe Graver's having a go at me saying Don Sibley's injudicious drive.
One slip for Shah, forward comes Butler. Nicely played actually through point. He'll come for one. I would imagine they'll happily turn back for 2. Yes, they do. 2 for 50 for Yazir Shah. Butler moves on to 10. Wokes, of course, yet to get off the mark, and they're in the pavilion where I think looking at a yawning Don Sibley, who looks like he could do with a nap. We're also looking at a rather pensive Don Bess, who's probably thinking, oh Lord, I'm going to be called upon to do something miraculous here, and he's not done anything particularly miraculous yet. Shah in, reverse sweep by Butler, who has worked out a way backward to square. 4 excellent one-day style runs.
Okay.
Jingle that seemed to forever to take. Interesting approach then, an Indo there from Joss. I mean, it was beautifully executed.
I like his approach that he's going after Yasir Shah, and it's different from what everyone else has been doing. But I hate to point this out, but the last 2 batsmen who played a reverse sweep got out immediately thereafter, Root and Stokes.
You are the oracle. Let's see if you get this one right. No wonder you're up there at number 1, ahead of VVS and whoever else, Sashin and MS, with that kind of foresight. Let's see if you are correct. I think it's more Butler thinking, well, hang on, I played a very hold the thought for a second, as in skips Yazir Shah around the wicket. That one turns out the footholds, but turns a long way, and Butler has nothing to do with it. I think it's more, having made his 38 in the first innings and played a non-aggressive game and still got himself out, he's thinking, I might as well play my natural game here. What have I got to lose?
Yeah, I think he's doing
this one again and comes off the thigh. Probably would have gone on to hit the wickets, to be honest, but it doesn't matter because it pitched so far outside of leg. That was not relevant at all. It's 123 for 5. 154 the target. These two get it down to 100. The dawning of false hope will once again mislead it. And up onto the back foot goes Butler, and he steers this away nicely to cover, but no run.
That's the problem with it. We've had some people get in touch with us on Facebook too. We have Anna Yasin Bhatti. He says, hope Pakistan will win. Mohammed Irfan says, inshallah, Pakistan won the match.
Butler.
Sorry.
Butler gets a single.
Victor Vincent Vicky says, no good, day 4. Yeah, it is day 4, and it looks like it will all be over on day 4 too.
Yeah, these two have to do something special, but then if one of these is out, we'll be going, well, these two. Yeah, at which point is all hope genuinely lost? I mean, some would argue it's now, to be honest. I think if one of these two goes, were these two to get the total under 100, and therefore necessarily one of them would be more set. But it's a long haul now for England. I'll have another look at WinViz in a minute, but I suspect it's if it was 84%, wasn't it? I would imagine it's well over 90 now for Pakistan. It's a fickle mistress's WinViz. It only needs 1 wicket to fall, and it immediately lurches massively in favour of the fielding side in a situation like this. It's going to be Shaheen Shah Afridi who's going to continue, left arm around the wicket. Didn't get up much, and is left alone outside the off stump by Jos Buttler. 124 for 5, 15 for Butler. Wokes yet to get off the mark. He's only faced the 1 ball. On 1 for 16 for Shaheen, who's not relying anything like on express pace, but it is getting. He's relying on accuracy and the additional lift that his height gets him, and it was certainly too good for poor Ollie Pope, who wore one on the fingers and then wore another one on the fingers, and the next one was the one that got him out. In comes Shaheen Shah Afridi, left alone again. Bit more lift that time, but once again through to Rizwan, and there's no run.
T at 3:55, yeah?
T is 3:55 today, unless there is an absolute clatter. What it needs to be is 8 down, so you'd need there to be 3 more wickets in the next 20 minutes, or the next 19 or 18 or 19 minutes. Were that to happen, then I'm sure T would be delayed. Certainly England won't be close to winning. 153 runs away. 3 wickets down, you'd still believe. 5 wickets down with this relentlessly aggressive bowling. And that one, oh my word, that reared up from outside the off stump. It was played pretty well by Buttler in the end. Rizwan is running away to field it. Buttler will get himself another single, bring Wokes back on to strike.
I mean, this is the thing,
that was a nasty ball, wasn't it, Indo?
Certainly unpredictable bounces coming into this now, isn't it? You know, and it seems to be the up variety rather than the down variety at the moment.
And I think Joss actually played that with his right hand, with the ball off, with the glove actually off the bat handle. But the run's gone to him. 125 for 5.
You've got uneven bounce on both sides of the wicket, actually.
Yeah.
You've got quality leg spin. You've got relentlessly accurate, but nonetheless varied, quick bowling. I mean, I'm excited by this Pakistan side. They may have their flaws, as this one is driven wide of gully, and that'll be 4.
Now my innings going, great guns. I hit the ball, 4 runs. I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Played that nicely, did Wokes, didn't he?
Yep.
Got everything nicely above that.
Well, he had a shocker against West Indies, didn't he? Shocker of a series.
He did.
Hardly got the runs at all.
And you know what? I don't mind if I see these two now look to play with some aggression. I think we've already seen that. You know, it could be over tomorrow morning with only 70 added to the score, or you'd have probably got a better chance by showing some aggression. Pulled short and pulled down towards mid-wicket. I don't think that's going to go all the way. Actually, no, it's going to be hauled up short of the rope. Mohammed Abbas, the man who rather reluctantly seemed to be jogging after that. And that'll be 3 for Chris Wokes. 145 now the target. I have noticed, by the way, that a number of the Pakistan players are wearing their jumpers. So whilst we have the doors open and the windows open and are absolutely working up a sweat, is it rather more chilly up there in Manchester?
Yeah, it might be chilly if you're from Pakistan, I guess.
Well, yeah, it could be that.
Just probably a bit colder than.
Yeah, well, it's up north in Indo.
It's not that far.
It's
130 miles.
You live in Surrey, mate. That's north. You can get past Luton. That's north. Round the wicket comes Shaheen. Nicely waited for. Bat dropped on it by Buttler. Just away to point. Takes a single. It'll bring Chris Wokes back on to strike. No, it won't. Buttler will steal the strike because it's the end of that Shaheen over. How about some tweets, Ben?
Yeah, let's get some tweets in. Jeff Perko says, the Bishop is understandably demoralised by the loss of the Pope. Absolutely. Afternoon, Guerrilla Cricket overjoyed. I don't have any excuse to get out of the gardening tomorrow. That's from Silvery Beams. Neymar Button says, I started my run. We were 96 for 2. What the hell happened? Now we have to rely on that plonker Buttler to bail us out. He's done all right so far.
But he won't be a plonker if he does.
Well, if he does, he'll be a hero. Suddenly he'll be a hero, yeah. It's a fickle game, eh? A-Bear, said Joe Grover, I wasn't having a go. He thought that Don Sibley's injudicious drive sounded like a 30s murder mystery. Yeah, it probably does, actually. False hope, says Jay Grover. Yeah. The picture of a cat? Meows that. Oh, please.
It's National Cat Day, I believe.
Oh,
for people who, I don't know who invented that, a greeting card company for people to send cards to their cats. As this one's tossed up outside a leg stump and swept, but there's a man down there at deep backward point. They'll have to hurry actually on that second run. Yes, that they do. When I used to work for a pet food company, we used to work on a theory that anyone who was interested enough to send a greeting card to their cat, we'd always ask information about people. And one of the questions we'd asked was, do you send your cat a birthday card or do you give them a birthday treat? And anyone who did, we knew that we could sell them just about any kind of the most expensive cat food or dog food. It was the key question. And this one swept again. Swept through mid-wicket. There's nobody there. That's going to be 4 more.
He definitely looks one day mode. It looks better, doesn't it? And then he'll get out to a crap shot and we'll just admonish him. But
this is
it's
it,
fun
Bear.
to watch.
I mean, you've got to feel a bit sorry for Joss here. I think I will go on record here saying I'd rather see him doing this.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's the only way he's likely to get a result. It's probably got a 2% chance of being successful, but 2% more than if he tries to defend his way to 138 that England now need. Shah comes around the wicket, pitches outside leg, but they just pads it away.
They're going to gain nothing by just sitting there and trying to play him out.
No, and also
100%.
the wicket is starting to do stuff. It's starting to deteriorate. There's uneven bounce. You might as well you've got a long way to go to win this game. You're not going to get out with a draw. If this is his best way of doing it, then so be it.
Who have we still got then? So we saw Dom Bess ready to come in.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's gone up in the air. The man at backward square is chasing it. It plops safely enough, and it's a single to Butler. Not one, I have to say, he looked massively in control of an Indo.
No, not at all. But then, the way he's playing, that's going to happen, right? He is taking chances, clearly.
Yeah, and I think we've all agreed that that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there will be a ball with your name on it.
And Yasir Shah won't mind that. I mean,
no. Well, that's the converse side of the argument, isn't it? That if you're the bowler and you get hit for a couple, you probably go, well, fair enough. I'm going to get you with one in a minute. Anyway, Butler's moved on to 24. Wokes is facing, and he is very solid, very correct. Almost as if it was just a gentle net session as he rolls this back to Yasir Shah, who says thank you very much, picks it up, swivels around to begin his run up again. He's in, bit of flight, outside the off stump, left by the entirely more circumspect Wokes rather than the more aggressive Joss. It's the end of the over, and we can catch up some more on more messages there.
Josie Oak says, is this match decided on the toss? The wicket won a lot and scores have reduced as the game has gone on. Whilst that is true, England let off Shah Masood and bowled exceptionally well at the beginning of the second innings. I'd say those are
I think you're right. I think yes, the toss was important, but we let them get 100 too many.
We did, and we made mistakes, and they capitalised on at the beginning of their innings. Tim Everingham says, even gorillas. I believe the word in German is Scheiße. Yes.
It's a word.
Josie Oak said that while stroking a white cat. And Gorilla Mog says, for whatever it's worth, every day is cat day. Well, if you're a cat person, I guess so.
Yeah, happy with that. Shaheen Shah Afridi is going to continue. He's going to be bowling from the Statham end. Once again, I'm not going to mention the boots. This one is outside of off, and it's steered really rather than driven down to deep point. Butler will get himself a single. Chris Wokes will be back onto strike. One more is reduced from that total. You can still call it a chase justifiably, because I think one thing we can 100% agree on is that barring an act of God, the draw is fully out of the equation. Wind is very much reflecting that too.
Well, in theory, these two could get it on their own, Well, they certainly got test scores.
It's the highest test scores. Hope that kills, Bear.
Well, I know, but I mean, their highest test
How
scores.
many times have we been down this road?
They only have to get 70 each. They've both got test tons, so,
2 slips, a gully. As in comes Shaheen Shah Afridi around the wicket. Driven on the bounce. Were there a crowd, it could have been a crowd catch. But you can't have a crowd catch with no crowd. They're at cover, and there is no run. Butler on 25, Wokes on 7. Yeah, you see again, you can look at Sibley, you can look at Root, players who both got good starts and weren't able to carry them on. We always said someone needs to post a big one.
Yep.
And other stuff will happen around them. And that has yet to happen. And England are fast running out of the options for it too. This one is driven, and I think the man at backward point got a hand on it. So they will probably just take a single. Did they take one or two there?
I think they got two there.
I didn't take two.
Yeah, they didn't take two. I think this is.
I was all the way along the ground. Actually, he did well to get a hand on it, to be fair.
I also think that Butler batting like he is probably going to bring Wokesy out of his shell and not let him sit.
Well, it might, but you know what? It might be a plan. It might be that Wokes has settled into the role or has been designated the role of rock. Well, Joss, mate, get out there and play. Everyone's against you. Go and prove them wrong. Play your natural game. It's the only way we'll get something. In comes Shaheen Shah Afridi, driven superbly through cover. Don't chase that. It's hitting the ropes now, and it's 4.
There's not one boy for me. I must have 2 or 3. I need 4.
15 minutes till tea.
15 minutes till tea. Can these two still be there? Will the false hope?
The false hope's going to come back
upon us again.
When it gets under 100, Tony. When we get to 178, that's when the false hope starts kicking in again. It's only 2 figures. And then everyone goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, very true. Shaheen Shah Afridi 1/4-32. He's got 2 balls left of his 9th over. 130 is that target being chased. 147 for 5 England. We've reached the stage where the runs to win are far more important or interesting than the runs on the actual board itself. There's an income Shaheen Shah Afridi, driven though straight to point, and there is no run. Again, those fielders applauding, hands above the head, willing Shaheen Shah Afridi on to get himself another wicket. And you've got to, I think he had a plan, Anindo bowling to Pope. I think he knew precisely what he was doing and how to tackle Pope, and it worked.
There's a snort of the ball as well. Sorry.
I think he absolutely did, and it of course worked. But Tony, I was saying that if England lasts another 15 minutes, you will have done Hindle.
Well, yes, as forward comes Wokes, pushed away to cover. It's the end of that. Shaheen. Yeah, well, Hendo just had one of those occasional broad-like spells we know he's capable of. And wickets just tumbled, didn't they?
They did.
What have we got, Bear?
We have Paul Coffees. It's such a pleasure listening from Melbourne to the @RealPCB. Give the Poms a lesson on guerrilla cricket. Derek Willis says National Cat Day was invented by cats, of course. And Jay Grover says, Tony, is not that like Nigerian emails? I presume he's talking about your marketing of cat stuff, which have deliberate misspellings to make sure any morons respond. The old Nigerian 418 scam or whatever it was that started out there.
No. It was genuinely, we used to segment customers for anyone who's interested in marketing nonsense. But I think we even had a name for them, indulgent nutritionists. and the key defining what was known as the KDQ when you used to ask the questions when people signed up is, do you give your cat a birthday present? Or do you give your pet a birthday present? If they said yes, then you knew you could market the bug as anything. Swept straight to short fine leg, and no run for Joss Butler on that occasion.
He also says his dog ate a plastic jam tart.
Plastic jam tart?
Yeah, doubts you'd have any truck with a birthday card.
Does she not read? That's a shame. In comes. Ooh, that's an interesting ball. It's outside a leg and it's just nudged to short fine leg, and this time they do take a single. That looked an odd delivery to me.
No, it was just outside leg a long way and didn't turn as much as anything. Butler watched it onto the bat. Butler will play at these balls. He won't be kicking them away. He's decided his best form of defence is attack here, isn't it? So he's going to probably try slog sweeps and all sorts.
Well, 14% England on WinViz.
40?
That represents a marginal recovery, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
148 for 5, 150. Well, that'll be a little milestone. That'll be England will have on their radar right now. They're going to get at least one of those. No, they're going to get 2, possibly 3, and I think now almost certainly 4, as that was exquisitely steered between cover and extra cover.
125.
It's coming down.
It's coming down. It's coming.
We seem to be going along at quite a lick, really, actually.
Well, but this is what I think. There's been a distinct, I believe, change of gear by England.
Well, there you go.
Right. There's only one way to tackle this problem now. We either go down in flames, or we don't want to go down with a whimper. That one's just dabbed very delicately, very nicely by Wokes. It was almost. He seemed to have an eternity to wait for that.
Yeah.
And then just decided. The ball seemed to just forever from the time it pitched and turned to the time he eventually decided just to lay a bat on it. Just seemed an eternity. Extraordinary. But he gets himself a single.
But Tony, it's an interesting situation because you've got two guys batting there who are as well T20 specialists. They're very good T20 players, both of them.
Yes.
And there's 125 to get. They could very well look at it as achievable from that perspective. Just
that one is Nindo. That one was swept at by Butler, a bit of an under edge, short fine leg, or would you call that leg slip? I think he's just a bit too far back to be leg slip. But it was a horrible shot, but it will or should get Butler a single. No, he didn't run in the end. Sorry, Nindo. Let's just catch up with that thought just after this delivery. Padded away. Nindo, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just saying that you've got two guys in there who are used to the short format. They're used to 125, looking at 125 differently from if you let yourself get psychologically bogged down by the fact that it is the fourth innings, you're under pressure, etc. And somehow it looks to me like that's the mode they've decided to take just to get them out of the rut.
Yeah, well, I think this is it. It's Bear, go on, beg your pardon.
I was going to say exactly that. You look at it one day, say you had 30 overs to go in an ODI with 125 and 5 wickets left in hand, you'd say, well, if we bat sensibly.
And I think you've got to look at the overhead conditions. I think you've got to look at the state of the wicket. You've got to look at the quality of the attack. And it is the best, if that's your best way of getting to a result. I, for one, I'm not going to be turning on England at the end of the game and going. I might do for the other shortcomings they've come, but not for the approach right now.
No, absolutely.
Which I think is the right one for this time. Shaheen Shah Afridi is around the wicket, and Wokes is very tidily forward. There's no run.
And it has to be said in terms of what they're looking for when they're going for runs as well. They seem to be looking in a sort of one-day type mode. They're looking for the short singles direct to the fielder, which normally in a test match you just let it slide. They're in that mode where they're going to try and put pressure on the field, force mistakes, get the scoreboard moving, and then see what happens, I guess.
Well, I wonder. We're looking at a close-up of Mohammed Abbas chewing away and proudly wearing his Pakistan cap. Roger Pineapple would be thrilled. There's Shaheen Shah is in. Oh, and that's right, edged onto his pad by Wokes. It sort of wriggles away from him somehow, away into the offside. But they're sort of persisting with Seamer at one end and Leggy at the other. And Nindo, I wonder if at one point fairly soon, particularly with the tee approaching, we might see the two Leggies in tandem.
It is definitely possible because they've got to change something around a bit, I think. Yasir Shah has been bowling unchanged for the past couple of hours, right?
1 for 32. He's in his 10th over, and that's driven back at him. And he does well to get that big frame of his down and get a hand on it.
I think it was a boot.
Denies England a run. Did well, didn't he?
He kicked it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think he just.
I just saw his right arm go down. We'll have a look at the replay. I'm sure you're right there. Your younger eyes see more than me, and you're absolutely right. He put his right arm down, but then kicked it, and I think it hurt him at the same time as well.
I think that hit him right. Sort of
his face,
ankle,
which is rather scrunched up, and always looks as though he's in a degree of pain anyway, scrunched several degrees more.
Toe ended it
in a degree of agony.
Oh, God, painful.
No sustainable damage though, because he's back to his mark. Thundering in, and nicely the bat dropped on it, beautifully away between point and cover, and all the way to the boundary for one of these.
That's sweet timing.
Wasn't that gorgeous? I love a shot like that.
Yeah.
And when it's all about timing and all about letting the ball do the work, and it's not just I like seeing a good old-fashioned slog as well. Don't get me wrong, but that sort of timing. Sweet. Just watching Wokes' head there, everything was in sweet alignment, wasn't it? The head, the bat, the feet, gorgeous shot.
I love
4 runs.
Yeah.
120 to win. Now you start looking at things the other way, and you go, "What if it was 2 less to the score? How different the picture may look." But what ifs and buts and maybes don't matter. England have lost 5 wickets. You cannot change that fact. As from the Statham end, Shaheen's coming over the wicket now and is driven straight to mid-on by Woke. So changing the angle of attack is Shaheen Shah Afridi.
The ball's quite old now as well, so it's certainly not. It looks pretty shagged.
Well, yes. I don't know that. How many overs have we had on it there?
Let's have a look. 50.4.
So 30 overs. So England, from their perspective, won't be wanting to face a second new ball.
Absolutely.
Which, therefore, by default, gives them about 28 overs for something to happen one way or the other.
Well, they might fancy 15 or 20 with the second new ball.
Well, if they've got 4 or 5 wickets in hand, yes, that's short and pulled. Looks a tired old ball to me, but a very, very sprightly bit of fielding down there at deep mid-wicket. And England will just get 2 for their troubles. 118 to win, 159 for 5 the score. Yeah, that looked a tired ball to me. And Indo, did you see it that way?
Yeah, he's been bowling for a while, and that's bound to happen, right?
And I think perhaps Woke will have felt he could have done more. It was the end of the over anyway. Maybe he will get that blow. Maybe we will see a change of bowling from the Statham end. 159 for 5 there.
Yeah, sorry.
Hello.
No, I'm here. Wicked Witch Leah says, to paraphrase Patton, it's not the ball with your name on it that you have to worry about. It's the one saying to whom it may concern that's going to do you in.
Yes.
Jay Grover says, I've never met Mog, but he strikes me as the kind of sweetie who would make cupcakes with candles for all his feline companions.
I have, and he is.
Barry Goodman says, by Bears logic, just Broad and Anderson will be enough for the win. I presume that's high scores in a test match. It's true.
Well, Yazir Shah is going to continue, and their bat is dropped on this, away to the offside. They scamper a very quick, well-run single. So Butler moves on to 27, Chris Wokes, who's catching Joss up in rapidly short order after a fairly watchful start. He's on 24. We're looking up into that England dressing room where Joe Root seems to have his hair. The other day we saw him, didn't we, with his bed head, hair all over the place. He's looking a little bit more slicked back and coiffured this morning, or this afternoon, I beg his pardon. And he's all done, showered and done. There's nothing else he can do now. It's down to the batsman left to see if they can bring this home for England against quite a few odds. 160 for 5. Bear, what are the bookies giving right now for an England win?
Let me have a look.
Yazir Shah's in again, over the wicket, straight through, kind of went on with the arm. Wahab Riaz. Not Wahab Riaz, what am I talking about? But taken comfortably enough behind the stumps. And there is no run. Mohammed Rizwan, what was I talking about?
Well, it's still quite close.
Is it? What have we got then?
Well, England are 13 to 8.
That one was just
2 to
pushed
1.
away, no run.
13
to 8.
13 to
England
8.
win.
Pakistan are 2 to 1 on.
Okay.
So firm favourites.
Do you consider that to be generous in your wide gambling experience? As this one's short and cut, but only cut to deep cover. So it'll just be a single. Wokes will move on by 1. Butler will take strike on 27.
I think Pakistan.
England 20%, Pakistan 80%. Nothing to draw. That's nice, clean numbers. Sorry, Bear.
I think Pakistan. That's fairly what you'd expect 2 to 1 on. I think England should be a bit further out than 13 to 8.
Yeah.
5 to 2.
I kind of agree with you. Swept, reverse swept.
Beauty.
Reverse swept. Quite magnificently down to deep backward square. 4 more for Joss.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Well, that's interesting, Bear. You are the doyen of all things bookie related. So if WinViz is saying it's 80-20, what should that, in your opinion, convert to in odds? If you're
bookies should, on 80-20, I guess the bookies should be offering around about 5 and up and 5 to 2, 3 to 1. They're never going to give you 4. which is what it is.
The 13-8 is too short.
13-8 is well too short. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. You heard it here first. 165 for 5. Yazir Shah's in again. That slip goes down and forward comes Butler. Oh, I was about to say, what a superb, the Pakistan fielders are right on their toes, as that was a horrible bit of misfielding. No damage done for them though. There was no run. End of the over.
The other thing is tea's about to come, isn't it? And I bet that kind of plays into Pakistan's hands a bit.
Well, I think we'll get one more over, with England needing 112 to win, 165 for 5.
And Tony, when you're looking at the rest of the batting, like I reminded you the last time, don't underestimate Stuart Broad.
Well, we know, of course, he has the now the Twitter account is Stuart Broad batting, goes into red alert when he is, and sort of is on full stand down if he's not, and then there's sort of nothing in between, which has now got how many followers has that got now?
I don't know. I can look at
well into thousands, which is amazing. So we are going to see Shadab Khan.
We're not going to.
It is going to be the two spinners in tandem, or at least to see us to tea, because I suspect this may well be the last over before tea.
It is.
Let him bowl and then we'll jingle him there. Right arm over he comes. A little bit of turn. Wokes prods forward. No run.
It's this man.
Yes.
What's the matter, you? Show a little respect. The leg is spinning his harder, but he turns it off at the deck. Well, he's
In he comes again.
He's always got.
Not surprisingly, there's a forward short leg and a slip for company, but Wokes is tidy. Again, no run, 112. It really would be shut up in your face if he gets a wicket just before tea. But Wokes again. Step back. I think he was looking to see if he could pierce that offside ring. He wasn't able to. Again, there's no run. 165 for 5. 3 balls left, we think, before tea. Wokes is forward, straight to forward short leg. Again, no run. Be interesting now if he did toss a couple up and say, hit me, an Indo, don't you think? Or will England just go, tea time?
He's going to get taken on that.
Yeah, so in he comes, Shadab Khan. He does toss it up a bit, and actually Wokes leans forward. It's off the outside edge. He will get a single, and it means that if there is one ball left before tea, Joss Butler is going to be the man that faces it. Now, if it was I, and in fact, Bear, you're a spin bowler, left arm orthodox though, rather than a leggy arm.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, but would you now be throwing one up for Joss and going, "Come on, have a go and hit me, boy"?
Yeah, I'd give it. I might well do that. Yeah. It fully expects him to just prop forward and defend it into the ground.
Well, yeah, but then we've been saying through this innings he's been much more aggressive in his approach.
Yeah, but this is one ball before tea, Tone.
Well, let's see what happens. Shadab Khan is going to be in. Oh, it's absolutely horrible. I don't think he meant that. And Butler has an age to swivel and pull it down to deep mid wicket, but there's a fielder down there, so it will just be a single. I think he'd be quite disappointed he didn't get more. We're seeing Shaheen Farshar Afridi, who's just, I think, jogging off rather than jogging as if he's planning to bat. Yes, it's tea. So at tea, England are 167 for 5. And Bear, if you read some tweets, I shall just call up the scorecard.
Okie dokie. Well, this was 15 minutes ago and it's still true. So he says, so then, Annie Chave, this is it, the moment. Joss will be the total test match hero. We knew he could be. Cometh the moment, cometh the man. He caveats that, but I just hope he hasn't done something daft while I type this. Well, 15 minutes later, it's still in play. Neymar Button says, is it now time to bring out the old Molly Sugden pussy gags? What was that? What was that?
Are you being served?
Are you being served? That's it.
Yeah.
Gits and
All
Grats.
done very well, young Mr. Grace.
Indeed. Gits and Grats says, I'm sure most people that assume it's grim up north only go as far as Luton. It's enough to put anyone off. Well, yeah, Luton is, No, I'm not going to go there. Leah Wicket Witch says, WinViz has a draw at 0%. Which tells them they don't account for the possibility of an alien spaceship decloaking above Old Trafford with England 9 down. It's improbable, but not impossible. That's true.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Jay Grover says, I've now decided I love Butler above all. Another, he is possibly the Messiah. I also might just possibly be waiting for something to come on.
That's his number first after tea then.
Yeah, indeed. Yasir Shah and Ian Austin separated at birth. I think we should be told. That's also Jay Grover. Annie Chave replying to Strange goes, "Don't jinx him. Do you know how tense I am right now?" And I'm sure we'll have you on after tea to tell us how tense you are. Dave Sarasa, people deserve to know the truth. That's about aliens. Umbre Nuevo says, "If Wokes and Butler can creep to around 50 each, then bring out Broad to Joycey, smash us home. England for the win, or if not, great fun to watch anyway." Well, that's a scenario that's still possible, Mr. Umbre Nuevo. Butler will be out to Muppetry soon after tea. It's quite possible.
For England at lunch, were they 2 down at lunch?
They
were 55 for 1 at lunch.
Yeah, they
That's
were
the
one,
extent of the carnage that Hendo wrought.
Yes.
Are there more messages, or shall I just quickly do the scorecard and what's happening at tea? Dare I ask?
I don't think we know what's happening at tea.
You're the producer. Good to know.
Well,
where's our producer when we need him?
Editorial director is Hendo. I've got enough things. Everything's
we
not
will wait
working,
to hear.
Tone. I'm getting, this video thing is really doing my head in.
Well, let's see. 55 for 1 at lunch. England have lost Sibley, caught Asad Shafiq, bowled Yasir Shah for 36. Joe Root caught Babar Azam, Naseem Shah. Ben Stokes for 9, caught behind off Yasir Shah. Ollie Pope, who was really had a full number done on him by Shaheen Shah Afridi, wore one on the fingers, and then the next one he also wore on the fingers, but this one looped up to be caught by Shadab Khan. Joss Butler and Chris Wokes, the not out batsman. Butler 32 off 31, Chris Wokes 26 off 26, so they're both going about a run a ball. Both, we feel, have decided that hanging around and really digging in is the time for that has passed. So at tea, England are 167 for 5. On the bowling front, Shaheen Shah Afridi 1 for 38, Mohammed Abbas 1 for 23, Naseem Shah 1 for 24, Yasir Shah 2 for 74, and Shadab Khan just back into the attack to see us through to tea, none for 6. So there we are. What is happening at tea time? Let's have a look. Is there any?
There's no direction from Ubermeister Henderson. Hendo is not telling us what to do.
Do you think he's having his afternoon nap?
Yeah, he might well be. Hendo! If we scream loud enough, he still won't hear us.
Well, should we take an executive decision then? Do you want 10 minutes of some, let me think, what about some Dick Well Abroad? That will keep people awake if you pick a good one. Not the one where Hendo thrashed me in the final and batted forever. We don't want to listen to that.
For 10 minutes, no one will really know what's happening, will they?
No, you could be right. Well, we could just stay on and chinwag then.
We could just stay on and chinwag.
I'm happy to chinwag.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, the wickets, of all the wickets that have fallen, 3 have been very good get-outs, unplayable balls. Some, the one that got Pope reared, the one that Stokes got very difficult, unlucky to get something on it, but virtually unplayable, having got something on it. So it's going to be difficult for England. And I think these two are doing the right thing.
I'm looking at our chat, not of any real interest to anyone else, but there is a rota which Hendo sent to everyone, but it's in such a weird layout that it's hard to tell who's doing what.
Yeah, he copies that from his, what's the name?
So it looks to me like Annie's on ball by ball at 6:15, but I think that's extremely unlikely. Not that it wouldn't be great to listen to.
Hendo, Nestler's Annie. I think you just have to go in the time. So Hendo is ball by ball. Nestler's Annie.
So I'm on. Does that mean I'm on
at 4:55? You're doing ball by ball.
Oh, am I?
And at 5:35, I'm doing ball by ball.
One would never know. So in Indo, what time is it there for you there in Singapore?
It's about 11 o'clock. That's fine. I was just when Yasir Shah was bowling, I was just looking at something quite interesting. A couple of years ago, it was, I guess, when he went to 200 wickets. That was one of the longest standing Test records, Clara Grimmett's, and he broke that, and they were. So there were quite a few interesting things. So he was 32 when he did that, He's 34 now, and you would assume that, spinners mature late. Everyone knows that. But at 32, how many wickets does he have left, right? I was looking at some numbers. So after the age of 32, Shane Warne took 332 wickets after the age of 32. Anil Kumble took 300 wickets after he was 32. Murli took 253 wickets. And Clary Grimmett took all of his 216 wickets because he debuted at 32.
Well, it's okay. So, are we thinking specifically leg spinners?
No, they just happen to be leg spinners.
Okay.
Dilip Doshi, who debuted at 32 as well, and he took 114 wickets. So you would think Yasir Shah's got some time to go.
Well, no, I think I would go along with that. I mean, look at England's attack with Broad and Anderson. Admittedly, every time now, if you are of that age, I look at 38 and go, you poor old bastard. I'd be quite, I'd be happy enough to be 38 again. Thank you very much. But when you are 38 and you're playing for England as a quick bowler, then every time you don't quite hit the top of your game, then people are going to look and go, is it the time? But as we were also saying, that 600th wicket is so close, you desperately want him to get there. You sort of feel in the case of Broad and Anderson together, I think Broad has said, well, even if Jimmy retires, I want to go on. I think what many England fans would like to see is a full house at Lord's, a fiver each, and then wave goodbye to that packed house. But life just don't work that way. Certainly not at the moment. I've just looked out my window. The Ferrari hasn't arrived in my drive.
Damn.
So, even though we would love that to happen, I think.
Yeah. But you remember there was a tweet earlier in the day, and we got sort of distracted where someone was asking about the fact that Anderson's 38, Roger Federer's 38, and how do they go on so long? And I was thinking about that at lunch, and there is a similarity. The way Federer plays his game, and the way Anderson runs in bowls, and they don't have the jerky actions. They don't. They're very, very smooth, both of them, and everything that they do is almost like a well-oiled machine.
But I think life goes through phases. If you're a sportsman, it's true, I think, of soccer players. It's probably true of tennis players. It's definitely true of cricketers. You're all youthful energy that compensates for potentially lack of technique. You then reach the age and experience where wisdom. So for a football defender, it's about positional sense takes over raw pace. The ability, the technique that you've honed as a faster bowler takes over raw pace. So again, it's pace is what you lose, but you can make up for it. And then the third phase is when it no longer compensates. And you just know, as a sportsman, I'm pretty sure you just know when that defender has somehow got past you and your legs won't get you anywhere close to him. You know when the ball's just not troubling the batsman quite enough. And you would think, and I mean, how old, for example, was Harath when he retired? Can you remember?
Harath was 40.
Yeah, I seem to remember. That's why I was asking, because I seem to recall that he'd reached 40. You would expect that a spin bowler might have that extra couple of years on them, where technique can continue just that bit more than a pace bowler to compensate for lack of pace, because pace is less an issue for them.
To an extent, I agree. But then, if you go back to the tennis example, I don't think at 38, Rafael Nadal, the way he plays his sport and the amount of pressure he puts on his body is going to be still playing.